Night Stalker's cool. I think their lanes will be better overall. But perhaps the Enigma lane will be tough.
Another concern I have for the heroic draft is when let's assume everything's very even, right? Man, how do you team fight into AVULUS, bro? Black Hole, Jakiro, Puck, Gyrocopter. Good luck. All you really have is Kunkka to help you out, so Yuma's gonna have to be working overtime to have his impact being felt in these team fights. There's just so many spells to have to worry about.
Yeah, the upside that we didn't really cover that much is you picked Puck into Sniper, which is probably Puck's top 3 worst lane matchup. So if Analog does a good job here, he can potentially stifle Mobe so hard that he's playing catch-up. And if Puck is not in a good position in this game and able to initiate and set up those moves for the team, then it gets a lot more complicated, because I see the same as you do in the AVULUS lineup. I see tons of synergies, I see tons of strong spells, powerful team fight, but a lot of it really rides on the Puck coiling someone, right? So if Mobe's lane is bad and he's playing recovery and doesn't feel motivated to make moves, things can get trickier. I think that's actually the biggest upside in the entire game here for me, for Heroic, is the mid lane should be an auto win, and I think the Kunkka should win against Enigma as well. Now it's just a matter of by how much are they going to win those 2 lanes, because I think the Slaughter lane's just dead on arrival.
Well, we shall see, as we have our first of our second elimination games underway right now. Loser, well, goes straight to the airport. Winner gets to keep their chances. Another day in the ring.
Right to the airport, baby.
Straight, dog. Like the shuttle's outside like the studio right now. Just waiting.
Yeah, you made it sound like both teams have been instructed to pack their bags in case they lose, so that they can walk out the door of the office and go home immediately.
No. Better yet, they have staff in your hotel room waiting. If you start losing, they're putting your shit in your bag, man. Get the hell out of here.
They're packing for you. What an amazing service. Schofield?
Schofield. They're gonna try and pack him up. Whisper will run interference with the Slithering Crush, and it might prove to be enough. Desire has another Void in 2 seconds. They really want this kill. Schofield, though, gets behind the trees. No vision for the Night Stalker. Oh, no, that's unfortunate. He gets it now, though. They still want this chase, but I don't know if they're gonna get him. There is gonna be one more Void in a couple of seconds. He's eating a Tango. Can he twin gate through? No way. He is dead. First blood going the way of Smiling Knights.
Trying to gate there is really counterproductive. It's way better to keep running, because you're going to get interrupted by the nighttime void. So it's better to just call it quits and keep running, waste more of Night Stalker's time. Desire actually had to wait to get mana to go through the gate. I think I've never seen that before minute 0. He was just standing there. He does get through now, though. Yeah, this is a great head start. In a lane that was already going to be easy for AVULUS, Smiling Knight gets the first blood on Gyro. Good luck to Whisper. He's going to need it, I think. Ready to be surprised by the outcome of this lane.
Well, we have had some very intriguing lane surprises. I mean, in the previous series, in both games, we had Tier 1 towers falling pre-7 minutes with heroes that don't necessarily do that all the time. So
yeah, that's very true.
How are things looking top? Yuma and King Jungles on the Kunkka and Tinker respectively. They'll have to deal with the Enigma Night Stalker. I mean, this is always, Enigma lanes always start to get dangerous once we hit that level 3 mark. So KJ, watch where you're standing, my friend. I think he'll be fine for now, though. Things seem pretty okay at the moment.
As long as Tidebringer is ready when Zippe and Desire make their move, I think you can just cleave and kill the Eidolons with a Tidebringer in the March. So this is one of the better lanes defensively against Enigma for sure. I wouldn't be too worried about Heroic's chances up here at surviving, but the question is how much they shut down Zippe, because sometimes we see these anti-Eidolon carriers just completely run the lane and give Enigma absolutely no ground. For the time being, Zippe with 7 CS I think is actually very happy up here. This is a good result in the early waves, so not too bad.
Desire also was able to clock the courier, bring it down. Down bottom, of course, Whisper is going to have a tough time, but middle, we're also expecting a tough time for the Puck, but so far, he's doing okay, of course, with this early levels. When does it start to become unplayable in this lane for the Puck?
Some of the pro games I've seen with this matchup at the very highest level, Sniper is already eating Puck now. So I think Mobe's early result of 11-1 against the 14-3 is honestly above average, I think, for this lane. It should be getting harder and harder as Sniper gets more points in headshot. He's got the 2 now. This is when it starts really hurting to get shot at constantly, but yeah, you'll see that. Very enjoyable matchup to play.
For the Sniper.
Yes. Implied.
Smiling Knights. Just chilling, farming up bottom. They did drag a couple of creeps toward Whisper, so Schofield doing what he can to ensure that his Slaughter does indeed have a game. But he is going to be way behind. And unfortunately, it's not one of those heroes that you can just go stack for and say he'll recover in that fashion. You kind of need to, out the offlane Slaughter, need to find aggression on the map to have him really show his stuff, but it's not going to be that easy. It's still going to take a while because, like we said, Sniper as your mid laner, he's not the one that's going to open the space for you. So you kind of have to rely on your supports to help you out in that regard, or Kunkka to make the rotations with the X's. And all of these heroes outside of Kunkka, it's not that easy to find kills before you have the Blink Dagger on the Slaughter.
This Slaughter Dagger is not sub 15 minutes the way this is going. He's got 9 CS minute 4, so the gyro's 21 and 9. Whisper actually with a decent amount of denies though with the 6. But see the pressure now mounting.
Dual breath. He's dead. He's dead. Well,
Schofield's pulling waves. I mean, what is he supposed to do, right? This is just an unwinnable lane, so you're getting what you can. The downside or the issue here is that AVULUS is losing their hard lane by less. The Enigma top is 18 and 7 to the Kunkka's 22 and 4. I actually think this is a great result from Zibe. And the mid lane, Puck being 23 and 1 to only the 26 and 5. It's almost breaking even with the Sniper. Now they find another kill. Schofield be roamed on by Desire's Night Stalker.
We're probably strong enough on the Night Stalker because they have Tinker top with the Kunkka playing carry. When the Kunkka's playing carry, he doesn't like to go for the early X, so you probably feel you can leave Shibe alone a little bit longer. You don't need Desire here 24/7. Actually, Desire might try to wrap onto Whisper. They're going onto a Slaughter. He's dead. Homing missile's gonna chase him. They come in with the TP, but it's not gonna make a difference. In fact, it might lead to a double kill. Schofield, there's a creep wave right now, tanking all of the tower shots, and Schofield is certainly going to die. Escape act will be triggered out. He's gonna look for the neutral deny, and he'll get it. What a player. The Dark Troll Summoner shows up, helps out Heroic, and at least only makes it a 1 hero loss in terms of the gold exchange.
Still a very, very good early game for AVULUS overall. All 3 cores are enabled. They're not super happy, but it's good enough given the circumstances. I think when Heroic were looking at their draft, they were kind of anticipating that they would be crushing mid and winning top significantly. That has not come to pass in 6 minutes. And now Zibe will hit level 5 before the Kunkka. Because if he was left alone a little bit, as you mentioned, with the Night Stalker leaving. So Nigma, the 5 points, or the 3 points in demonic summoning. It's he can now jungle if he wants. Like if he doesn't like the lane, you know, you can just go with your little Eidolons and farm these 2 camps down here. You can also look to the hard camp in the triangle if you want to do that as well. Even Ancients are a possibility as long as they aren't stacked.
Yep. I think you just play greed right now, right? You let the Night Stalker have the lane, Desire's already there. Get him his levels, get him his farm. Enigma just plays this jungle, you know, farming the top side, getting into the triangle when necessary. Like you said, Puck is doing so much better than expected that you probably don't even need to dedicate any supports to help him. He's fine. Mobe can do it all on his lonesome. So what's there to stop you as AVULUS? Just farm, boys. You definitely outscale Heroic in this game, so there's no reason for you to try and rush proceedings at the moment.
Oh, remember when we talked about the sub 7-minute towers? 3 games in a row, baby. This time it's the bot one. Fell pre-7 to Smiling Knight and Fly. Although this time it was a siege wave with liquid fire in the Stompy lane. That's kind of more expected than some of the other ones we had, but yeah, AVULUS, another win to add to the pile of early victories they've had in this game. Closing in on a 2k net worth lead with that tower. And Zibe will now get his level 6 after farming this hard camp. Ancients have been stacked once. He might do it again. Oh, Black Hole Online. See if they fancy a play up top. Desire is hanging around this daytime. His hero is really weak right now. Probably just gonna keep farming. Why not?
There's no reason to try and rush, right? Again, they're still locked behind the progress of that Blink Dagger. You stomp that lane so hard that you know it's going to be delayed by a significant margin. But they're actually going to smoke with the Gyrocopter and the Jakiro. So Smiling Knight heading to the mid lane with Fly. They have the level 3 Liquid Frost and the Liquid Fire, so this tower is in jeopardy, but they would like to find the pick-off first. Unfortunately, the sniper has already backed off deep into the jungle. He is not going to offer himself up as an easy kill.
I guess this move is a little bit telegraphed by how long Gyro has been missing for. So, Analog. Well, Schofield will bite the bullet here, literally.
Good guy, Schofield. He sees that the enemy has spent so much time smoked. I don't want to waste your time, guys. So he has a little bit of gold. In the meantime, they go on to Desire in the top lane. And he's just TPing out? No way. Level 1 X, unfortunately, and only level 1 Torrent. The cooldowns are too long, Cinderin. He has nothing to fear. It just leaves like nothing happened.
Yeah, and that's the mid tower gone. So the one play Heroic is trying to make simultaneously also fails. It's one thing to lose towers, it's another to do it against Night Stalker in the early game. This hero runs the map, even as a support. The amount of map control you get, he's running around at nighttime giving extra vision, he can get deep wards placed, and kind of terrorize the whole map together with the Puck, who, as we've seen so far based on Mobe's early game, is probably not going to hit the worst timings. This is looking very strong from AVULUS so far in a series where, you know, going in, I was expecting them to be the favorites, but this one-sided of an early game, given the lane matchups, it only says 1k lead, which generally isn't cause for alarm, but you picked 2 winning lanes. And you have won one of them and drawn the other, and you got crushed in your losing lane by more than you won the other 2 by combined. So this is definitely happy times for AVULUS, and they're just going from one tower to the next. You know, Enigma has a Vlad's. Let's push the next tower. It's nighttime coming up. Desire. Not going to get the rune. That will go to Analog. It's a little bit of a region. He'll just deny it, as a matter of fact. Top tower's gone. Another fight Heroic can't take. This should be the 2k lead unlocked.
I cannot believe that a Puck is even with a sniper 10 minutes in after the laning matchup. But
it's not
keep going
Analog's
like this.
biggest strength as a player, in all fairness. I don't think... I've talked about this before, that I don't think his strength as a player comes from lane mechanics. He has other things in the game that he's better at comparatively. I think he's better at rotations and better at map movements and just overall macro reads, whereas certain other players are lane masters, but maybe not as good as at the macro. So in a lane matchup like this, where it's very much down to minute precision with last hit and with very good understanding of lane micro, it might be a little bit on the short side on that. Yuma, nice catch.
Very nice catch. They actually set him up so nicely because they were watching him for a while. Desire sat behind him waiting for the X to come back. Then they jump him. I don't even think the black hole was necessary, but Shebe's like, I haven't used the spell. Just want to make sure the button works properly. There we go. So first black hole, safe. First kill on Yuma.
It's like, it's one of those things where if you don't use it and then afterwards the guy gets away, you are like, why on earth did I not just use it? And in reality, what are the chances that you will need this in the next 2.5 minutes as well? Because we're kind of just going to go back into the default farming state again now for a little bit. So I think it's fine to drop it there. Just keep it safe, keep it simple, get the kill. Straight back to the jungle he goes, continuing his now 1,000 net worth lead over the Slardar, which is not unheard of for Enigma, of course, if both heroes are offlaners. But once again, keep in mind, he was playing against Kunkka, and he's almost tied with the Kunkka he was laning against. So very, very positive outlook once again for AVULUS. Still, I'm talking about them a lot, and it's because Heroic are not giving me much reason to talk about them, because they've yet to get a kill. At the very least, they farmed a nice stack just a moment ago that they set up with Slardar as well as the Sniper, and of course Tinker. And this is where, you know, Tinker can always just farm. If nothing is happening, this hero will outfarm the enemy supports, so given enough time, King Jungles will scale.
Just caught in this awkward moment.
Giving them the opportunity.
I suppose as well with the nature of their supports, not really much you can do at this moment, but they are farming, like you said. Kunkka's keeping up his farm, not that far away from having the Radiance. They've already taken this big stack, like you said, so this invasion into the triangle from AVULUS isn't as catastrophic as it could be. If this invasion had occurred like 2 minutes ago, this would have been hell on earth, but it comes now, it's like whatever. Got a lot of gold anyway.
You're still controlling it though. That's the thing, is sure you didn't steal stacks, but look at how Heroic's heroes are on the map. Like, if you draw a line straight down the middle, let's do some trigonometry here. How big of a percentage of the map are Heroic's heroes on? I think this is like 30%. All their waves are pushed in. They don't have access to their own triangle. They're really just boxed in by AVULUS, just completely controlled. And that means, given enough time, that even if you have a Tinker farming, when this is the map state, he's actually taking farm from other heroes. Part of the reason why this hero is so crazy as a support is he, a lot of the time, will take farm that other heroes don't need, so they can just farm other places in the map. And guess what? The camps that Tinker wants are the ones that his teammates need right now, because they can't go anywhere. Usually Tinker will farm the 2 camps on the right, he will farm the 2 camps next to the mid-tier 2 tower. They're already farmed because other heroes need them. So they're taking farm from each other. They have
what about diving Yuma top? They couldn't find him. They might still dive him now, but now he's going to be fine. But yeah, the Tinker hopefully can actually leverage this farm. Does have this Holy Locket right now, so that's some additional sustain for his team. But still not too much happening. On the bright side, Whisper has completed the Blink Dagger. It is online, it's ready, so we can start seeing some movement happening. Also, I'm laughing that you made reference to some trigonometry. I'm literally reading a math book in between breaks right now. Top lane.
Math is interesting. Always was. And hard. Lest we forget.
Yeah. Math is... yeah. Well, it's not as hard as chemistry. I think chemistry is harder than math. Chemistry is pretty silly. I don't like chemistry. Math is fine. I can do that.
Alright. It's a hot take. We'll see if Chad agrees with you on that, that math is easier than chemistry. I would not think that is the overall assessment of the world, but...
Nah, bro. When I was in school, like, doing math, physics, not super easy, but doable. Chemistry, biology, absolutely impossible. Top lane. Let's see if living for Shibe will be possible. Literally impossible.
He has a Vanguard. He's pretty tanky.
He's gonna still try for it though. He's losing his HP because of this corrosive haze. Let's see if they can counter this. Mobe shows up but doesn't have a blink of his own, so there is no immediate counterplay. Alright, that's nice. They also happened to... he disabled the initial blink from Whisper with the Midnight Pulse, but they still caught up to him in the end.
And now they could consider accessing this Tormentor. It's obviously in the top side because of the Night Stalker and Heroic. They are fast enough. What's it going to cost them though? Here comes the counterplay.
Tormentor's been taken. Spotlight gets thrown out by Schofield, so he should know that the heroes are coming. There we go. Jump in. Dream Coil onto 2. It's the cause. But there was a nice torrent with the Wheel of Wonder, stopping the Gyrocopter from entering the fight. Now he's being plicked down by the sniper. Already, we do not have a gyro anymore. Night Stalker caught now in a very awkward position in the trees, trying to fly himself to safety. Somehow manages to do so, though. However, the courier of this Ringmaster will scout out Desire, but he's still fast enough, it seems. So he should be fine. Whisper, though, he says, nah, guys, we're not going to let this one go. This man has been torturing me. Misses the Slithering Crush, slightly out of range, and now slowed down by the Void. However, Desire cannot escape. The X marks the spot. Dragged back in position, killed off by Whisper. And Heroic, it feels like we've also seen this before, Centurid. A game that's going horribly for Heroic, but they happen to take one impossible fight and bring themselves back in the game.
Yeah, I don't know if impossible is the word I would use for it, but it was definitely, you know, in terms of overall theory, you would think this would be hard for them to access, especially after killing the Tormentor. You lose all that health, but they didn't lose that much because of the defense matrices and the March of the Machines, so they were actually still in fighting shape afterwards, and all of this is just compounding on one Enigma gank, so really nicely done from Heroic to actually pull slightly ahead now in terms of the gold in this game. After the laning stage definitely did not go according to plan, they have still managed to find a way to break it open. Yet to take a tower, that is still going to be a concern. They're down by 3 tier 1s, but that just means there's more unclaimed gold for them if they can unlock it by making some moves now. Their entire lineup online.
Random question for you, Mr. Sint. That particular fight, right? If the Aghanim shot had gone to the Tinker with Warp Flare instead of giving Schofield the spotlight so they could get vision in that fight, do they still win that engagement?
I don't know how much the spotlight really did. It covered one angle that they kind of knew they were coming from anyway. So I actually think the Warp Flare would have been even better. Right, he really wants this kill on Yuma. He's alone though. I don't know if he can do this, can he? Maybe? No.
Defense Matrix repair bots, he's gonna be fine. Okay, so we do have a game on our hands now. Radiance finished on the Kunkka. He's very close to having BKB as well. And Slaughter are gonna start building into a BKB of his own. So the terms of this game have changed somewhat. And once we do get to the BKB portion of things on all three cores, which is what Heroic are angling for, what do the fights look like from that perspective?
I mean, once the key items are up, Heroic's lineup can be extremely explosive in fights, right? You catch someone with an X-Mark, Corrosive Haze, and you just burst them with sniper attacks. You have a nice setup with the Rod of Atos into Wheel of Wonder now to counterplay Night Stalker engagements, to counterplay Buck trying to get in. So I'm a lot more hopeful for Heroic now, just based off of that one sequence, and that's how the game goes sometimes. I usually don't lean too heavily on the win expectancy graph, because I feel like as of the last couple of months or last year, it's less reliable than it used to be, but this was an 85% Radiant advantage at 12 minutes, according to that win expectancy. Now it's down to 70, so Heroic have taken a big chunk out of that. The win expectancy always loves Enigma. That's what I've come to learn. It likes late game, likes big team fight, which AVULUS have plenty of. And Heroic have definitely put themselves in a position to stand a fighting chance in team fights later. It's going to be down more so for them to finding angles and individual pickoffs rather than just straight on cast all your teamfight spells in succession. It's more of an AVULUS thing.
We're encroaching upon 20 minutes. Not that long away before we see teams moving towards their shrines. Dire Scan did not connect, it seems, so they want to try and jump the puck potentially, but they missed the X. His hands were literally in the air, and Yuma was about to catch him, but Mobe got out.
Like you just don't care. Sorry, you have to say that. That's what I've learned.
Is that a necessity? Okay. That's
Whenever
the meta.
you say hands in the air, you need to finish the statement. It's a mandatory part. Finish the sentence.
Takes the arcane rune from Roshan, feels bad. Roshan's hands are down because he cares a lot, man. He just wants to protect his house.
We're still waiting for Roshan to be able to eat runes. Let's give it another year. Valve will come around surely. Mobe stealing away some ancients here. So taking advantage of the fact that his hero is relatively uncountered, can with some sort of confidence farm the enemy side of the map. And he is now the first hero to crack the level 15, so will unlock his Waning Rift damage talent, which will further accelerate his farm, of course, and teamfight output. And AVULUS are preparing to get a Wisdom Shrine. As a matter of fact, get both Wisdom Shrines, as, well, Heroic are going to be too late for the Shrine, but they might be able to get the follow-up fight.
Fly's going to be the first one that comes up. Actually get the... Oh my gosh, they get the crush. Wheel of Wonder. Desire needs to get the hell out of here. The Shrine is going to be taken by Whisper and the life of this Night Stalker. The TP out from Flies, by some miracle, does actually succeed, as the Dream Coil from Mobe ensures that there's no further chase from Schofield. So they get the kill, they get the Shrine. Whisper would love to keep chasing, but the blink away from Mobe will ensure that he is safe. Okay, Heroic, they came just before that. 4-hero twin gate rotation. Can they get the tier 1 tower off of this? Definitely.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It looked like they were going to be too late. I mean, that was cutting it close. They were there 1 second later, and Whisper doesn't make it, but they managed to find the perfect timing. Unfortunately for them, only getting the singular support kill, but at the very least, the tower to boot as well as the Wisdom makes this feel somewhat worth it.
They're going to get the secondary kill now. They find Sibe. He does not have BKB, does not have a Blink Dagger, has no way out of this one. Sorry, brother. You are about to die. So that's another kill for Whisper. And Whisper is just 1,000 gold behind this Enigma, but has certainly recovered quite handsomely from how the early game was going. Has the shard, starting to build into the BKB, should have it in about 1,500 gold.
Yeah, this is a much better overall game now for Whisper than and I was anticipating 5 minutes in. It was looking like it could become just a flat-out liability game on Slardar, but yeah, the couple of successful moves from Heroic put them in a position now where Slardar is unlocked. And they have this very nice siege machine in the sniper with defense matrix on himself. Always a good time for him. And they're just going to slowly but steadily continue this progression now on the side of Heroic. I think already now maybe mentally planning for the next Tormentor, you've already proven that that was a good point of contention for you, that you're in a strong position, that you take it with relatively minimal health loss. So they also have good vision up there still. That's going to linger. The 1-2 jungles just placed top left is going to last for another 5.5 minutes if it doesn't get dewarded. That would potentially scout Nouns is, excuse me, to say Nouns because I just clicked on Fly. That's right. Nouns are back, baby. AVULUS is champion.
Oh, Desire, look who he found. He found Analog. Can they actually kill him? Okay, doesn't seem like it. He's going to get through the Twin Gate. Unfortunately, I don't think that Schofield is going to be as lucky. So, do what he can. Maybe he forces out a Dream Coil. He does indeed. So, he got a Coil out and he got a Dark Ascension out of Desire. So, that is a great win for Schofield.
This is Roche territory for Heroic, potentially. But there is a ward placed. They're going to deward it. Whisper can't access the deward, and Fly will find the deward of the deward instead. But yeah, this seems like the kind of place that the game will revolve around right now for the foreseeable future. It is still natural nighttime for another minute, but once that nighttime ends, there will be 40 seconds before Desire will have Ascension. Heroic also can threaten the Tormentor simultaneously, so really want to start playing the top half of the map now. Push out mid, push out top. Just let bottom be, you know, it's whatever. Focus around this mid area. Looks to be planning a smoke right now. A lot of heroes scooping up on Heroic side.
They'd like to take the tier 1 tower first, the sniper. I mean, they need the tower first, right? And they actually, you're right though. Gonna go high ground. They don't find anybody in the vicinity. They got the D ward in the river. They'll also take away the observe ward right in front of the Roshan pit. And as soon as that disappears, the path to the big man is open. At the same time, though, AVULUS, now that they feel more comfortable, they scan the high ground as well. So here they come. Blink Dagger available from Desire. Like you said, still no Dark Ascension, but 10 seconds of Natural Night. He had a quick jump in from the park, but he immediately got himself out of that one. Gyrocopter with the call down to zone Heroic outside of the pit. But they're still quite healthy here. You know, Tinker will go back to replenish his mana though, and he will return.
Apparently a little bit of controversy there from King Jungles, as the ward he just dewarded from Fly might apparently be slightly bugged with where it is visible from. King Jungles had to walk into the edge of the Roche pit to see that ward, which doesn't make sense because you're not allowed to ward in the Roche pit by Dota rules. You just can't do it. But apparently you can put it right on the brink of it. Anyway, that's for another time.
He found Zibe. Wheel of Wonder is out onto this Enigma. They're beating him down. Schofield, make sure they have the damage and they get him. Fly also taken out by the Kunkka. Behind him with the BKB active. Analog did lose quite a bit of HP while all this was happening, but with the defense matrix, he's going to be fine. And they could decide to jump further forward. They see there's still a BKB available from this Gyrocopter, so kind of a dangerous engagement. But nonetheless, with the Enigma and the Jakiro gone, that's most of their big team fight control. Dream Coil is down as well, so Roshan is an easy grab.
They should get Tormentor as well. Might as well grab the whole collateral here.
Team going to chill the Gyrocopter, but they sort of left the sniper alone, and Puck was very nearby. I thought that could have been a calamitous situation. Thankfully, though, they went back for the objective instead. Secure the Aegis for the team.
Yeah, you can see the ping there coming out from Fly. He's already anticipating that Heroic want to go for the Tormentor, and Yuma now drawing the circle. Let's go push out top area and prepare for this objective. Both teams likely to clash up here. We have seen very little of Smiling Knight for a while in this Gyro, so we haven't talked about him too much. He is still keeping up the pace. He's very farmed on the Gyro, closing in on Satanic. Obviously love to find a good team fight up here to complete that item and get the Tormentor, but maybe that's a little bit too optimistic. Now Whisper gate up here, and I think this is a potentially game-deciding fight if it does break down. I think this is where Heroic really creates some distance to AVULUS if they win this. And it looks like AVULUS are having none of it. They're not interested in sticking around. This is just, they're just conceding it. Okay. not fighting for the Torm either. So 2 objectives for Heroic.
That Eidolon down bottom from Sibe did scout out the movement from Whisper, so they know well enough, just get back, let this one go.
Oh,
It's-
Heroic
still
not
doesn't
going
have
for
a
the
shot.
Torm. This could work. Mobe will expect them to be doing the Tormentor right now. Oh, just keep linking. And now he's going to gate back top. Well, that was extremely uneventful. He's coming back now. He just wanted to kill that one wave before it was Torm. All right, well, that was pretty expensive on the mana. He gated twice. There we go. Shard for Kunkka, very nice to get Tidal Wave for free. You love that if you're playing this hero to carry. Not having to spend any gold on that allows you to progress with your utility build instead, working on the Hex.
They're actually getting quite a few utility items. Slaughter going for the Orchid next. Hex being considered by the Kunkka. Ringmaster wants the Aghanim Scepter for the double escape act. So, going to become increasingly more difficult for AVULUS to find these kills onto these heroes in these fights. So the question is, what do they do? Are we waiting for BKB on this Enigma before he wants to try and make something happen? Do we wait for the Aegis to expire first?
I think the BKB would be very valuable to buy enough time for it. It's kind of difficult to see a path for AVULUS to obviously take a fight at this point. That was something for 10 minutes ago when Night Stalker was more of an impact hero. Now, fighting into multiple BKBs and fighting with a dead Jakiro also. Probably not going to be much happening for a while here. Fly taken down. Yeah, I think you have to keep farming. You need to get the Enigma BKB. The Night Stalker Halberd could also very much come in handy against Sniper. And he has a very clear task ahead of him in fights. He's just going to jump him, cripple him, and then Halberd him. Take Analog out for as long as he can. He might die for it himself, but if his teammates are winning the fight simultaneously, that will be well worth it. And now it's finally time for Gyro to start buying some big damage. He's got Satanic completed, so now we're planning the Daedalus for Smiling Knight.
Daedalus, it also seems like he's being built up by the Sniper, but with Daedalus, Aghanim Scepter, BKB, Gale Guard, yeah, it's gonna be fun seeing Gyrocopter actually maintain presence in these fights. I think that's one thing they've been really struggling with. Like, even in that last engagement we saw top, getting him closer to these heroes where he can actually hit them has been a bit of a struggle. But in these future fights, if he's able to make his own way in with the BKB, we'll see how it goes. For now, Heroic are setting up to try and put some pressure down onto this bottom tier 2, perhaps. They are having Mobe behind, maybe looking to cut some waves, make sure that this push takes as long as possible. However, they're coming to scout him now. Whisper will take the Watcher, they'll see each other, so this shenanigans will come to an end.
Mobe will dip out to the top right. Spotlight. You know where he is.
Do they know that he's here in the crevice? He's peeping out. Does he see him? Whisper, whisper, whisper. Oh, this little tree. I think he couldn't see him past the tree. Yep. Game is out.
So the biggest puzzle in this game for me, or the most puzzling thing rather about this game for me so far, is what has justified the first pick of the Enigma. I've not felt its presence in the game yet. And usually if you're a team that first picks Enigma, it's either because it's a patch where the hero is really powerful, or you're specifically picking it against a team that is winning their games because of Enigma, or you have a strategy revolving around it that really utilizes it. Maybe there were a couple of picks coming out from Heroic that AVULUS were not anticipating, but for the most part, Heroic have kind of picked heroes that they have already, right? Tinker, Ringmaster, the Kunkka, and the Sardar. The Sniper is the only odd one out. So yeah, that's still just the biggest question mark here, is what made AVULUS so adamant about running Zib's Enigma this game without the info? Because there were other heroes you could have prioritized higher, right? I think they could have picked the Tinker, for example, when the Ringmaster came out as a trade. You could have grabbed the Kunkka if you think that's a good pick this patch. There are definitely options available, but give it enough time. Enigma has a tendency to win late games. And maybe that was the whole plan from AVULUS. They're like, Heroic don't play fast enough. You can get away with this in this series.
So far, they're not being completely outpaced in the gold department. Well, Fly is going to end up dead. There's the reveal of Whisper's young Orchid Malevolence. He will miss the Slithering Crush. And Schofield is like, what are you doing, man? I'm going to steal your kill. They take it away from him. Well, you must see Desire. No, he's going to TP out just in time.
Schofield going for Axe on ring.
Yeah.
Seen that too much this tournament. We'll give him the second charge on Escape Act, as well as the daggers flying out from it doing damage. Maybe he feels like there's no nullifier buyer in the enemy team, which is incorrect. The Night Stalker almost has one. So I don't know about that as the overall choice. And now Enigma will have to do that. So big items inbound for AVULUS. Nullifier as well as BKB should make the game a lot easier for them. Puck also completing Yules. They're definitely not at all in trouble.
Game feels very even right now.
But it was feeling like a game early on that could very well have gone great for AVULUS. Now that it hasn't, at the very least, the silver lining is this is very much within their grasp. Like it's pretty much an even game, like you said. Comes down a lot to whether the sniper gets freedom. If he is uncountered in the fights and just gets to stick on targets, that's massive. Now he has a BKB, he can protect himself from the NS. Will not have to worry about being nullified. He can just BKB and fight out, or he can use his grenade, of course. Plenty of defensive utility.
I think they should smoke. They just picked up the Hex on the Kunkka. So Heroic, they just don't have clear vision on where these heroes are at the moment. Like, all their wards are on their side of the map. But it would be really nice if they could reveal this by surprise. Did he wander into this observer ward, I wonder? I don't know if they actually saw him here, but ideally, you surprise them, and now here we go. They're going to smoke as they twin gate. At the same time, though, AVULUS, I think they did actually get the scouting, because they're smoking in the opposite direction. Unfortunately, though, they were hoping that there was maybe a straggler. They're all twin gated, so now they have to go bottom. Hope they can find something.
This looks like it's going to be a clash, though. I think Desire is going to break the smoke here, and then we'll see what comes to pass. Desire, out, nice break.
Mobe finds the two-hero Dream Coil onto Kunkka and the Slaughter. There's going to be an escape back onto the Slaughter for now. Where's the rest of the follow-up? Gyro doesn't have his Swift Blink just yet, so doesn't have an easy path to engage this fight. Sniper trying to take out as much as possible. There's the Blink Black Hole. Kunkka and the Sniper, both of them caught, both of them killed. Big damage coming out. The double BKBs on Gyro and the Enigma meant they had no hope of getting out of this one. Schofield goes down a moment later. And Heroic, they were trying to play the angles in that fight. It felt like the Sniper and the Kunkka were baiting a little bit, but you know, you were mentioning we haven't had to talk about Sebe for a while. That's what happens when Enigma's not black holing. You sort of forget about it, and then it comes out clutch in that moment.
It's so much easier to play Enigma when you're playing with Night Stalker. It's incredible how much... You know, they had all the information available there for AVULUS. The moment that Coil came down and nothing really came from it, I was like, oh, Heroic are probably pretty happy with this. Coil was thrown out, but one moment of opportunity, they slip. Sniper and Kunkka are close together. It's the easiest black hole of Zibit. Like, get in there, cast your spells right away. You know you're not getting countered because there's nothing stopping your BKB black hole except Blink Bash in the back. What are the odds of that? Like, just go for it right away when you see it. Pulls it off they kill. I find it a little bit Whisper just stuck here close to me. Well.
Get a TP in from the Tinker with the defense matrix. That'll keep him alive with the repair bot. But like you say, BKB now down to 8 seconds. That was his initial charge. He did not deploy it in the last fight, of course. He had to retreat too fast. That does not feel good. Now you know that your primary initiator for the next 75 seconds can't really start the fights that easily for you. Thankfully, you do still have this Gleipnir thrown out by Schofield, and they will be able to find that kill. By the way, this Gleipnir, well, we didn't talk about it. He changed his mind from the Aghanim Scepter to go Gleipnir instead for some more control for his team. And honestly, it almost worked out for him in that last engagement, except that the one hero he didn't Gleipnir was the Enigma, who caught them all and killed them.
Yeah, I think it's a good kill that time. I don't think the action's that good. Hero buyback, all right. AVULUS fancy their chances without Black Hole and without Dark... Okay, Dark Ascension is in 3 seconds. This could get spicy. Obey.
Goes in. Yuma able to take the Aegis. Desire did go in at the Dark Ascension, but cannot get into the Roshan pit. So trying to escape is the rest of Heroic. Does AVULUS really want to chase this? Desire's thinking about it. The homing missile connects onto the Kunkka, but cooler heads will prevail. Mobe will poke a little bit, but there's no way they're engaging this fight.
Yeah, Desire's just effectively doing a scouting ult at this point. Nice play call from Heroic. Black Hole is down, Dark Ascension's down. We can grab a big objective, and they get the Roche for themselves. They choose to put the Aegis onto Yuma. rather than onto Analog or the Slardar. So at this point in the next fight, make sure Analog stays safe. He cannot afford to get black holed again. He'll be available in 3 seconds. Zibbe. Not enough mana now. Right, we'll have to go back to base first before Avulus can think about that. Fly again. Getting caught in no man's land. But if nothing else, it means Mobe is free to push out top. What plan?
They did have an observer ward there that was scouting Desire just as he TP'd out. Would have been nice if they could connect on both simultaneously, but he'll still just take it. Get to push out this wave. Puck actually didn't leave. He stuck around to try and get as much out of this jungle as possible. Still only a 2k net worth lead for Avulus. Heroic with this Aegis. And we are scaling into some interesting items. Yuma going towards having that AC for himself into Satanic, so that's going to be the right-click build from the Kunkka. And of course, normally somewhat mixed about the Kunkka damage as I am, but thankfully Whisper is in this game to help supplement that.
Yeah, Slaughter is important for that. Smiling Knight will complete big wood crit simultaneously with the sniper. Are they going to dive?
They get the range. They get the full shot, the ultimate out from the sniper. Unfortunately, Gyrocopter shows up out of nowhere, puts in the right-click damage. They've already gotten the kill onto the Slaughter. Kunkka about to fall as well because him and the Ringmaster got caught by the Dream Coil. That's life number 1. As he returns, you will find that life number 2 doesn't have an easy way out. It does have a BKB, TP. Okay. Oh, cancel there with the black hole. Zibe very happy to commit this one. Of course he'll do this. They also cancel a TP away from the Tinker. So both of them will end up falling. A triple kill for Smiling Knight on his Gyrocopter. And Heroic, they find themselves 4 kills. The only one not involved in these deaths is the Sniper. He only contributed the Assassinate, but why did they make that dive, Sind?
I'm guessing Whisper thought Sniper was in attacking range. Otherwise, that Slaughter kill doesn't happen. Excuse me, the Night Stalker kill doesn't happen. And now you ended up paying literally every advantage that you just gained for nothing. So this is a massive, massive win going the way of Avulus that, technically speaking, they kind of had no business even getting. Jakiro was dead. It was a 5v4 situation that Heroic just lost 5-0 because they lost the Aegis too. So it's 4 heroes, including the double kill on the Aegis carrier. And it's going to cost them a lane of barracks.
Wow.
This is a speed run to losing this game, unfortunately, going the way of Heroic. And they might lose more now. Ringmaster. Okay, Mobe.
Actually get the silence out onto the puck, but he does have Yules. Wheel of Wonder will be there. He's still alive for now. Did he get the damage out onto this Ringmaster? Yes. Parasma, baby. Good item. That being said, Sniper putting in some pressure onto him. Can he find the angle for the Assassinate? Doesn't even need it. Just a couple of right clicks are enough damage. The team does nonetheless reveal or require the gem. Get it back to the team. But they did lose a full set of racks down bottom. It's only Dota 2 where these things can happen. Where you're losing a game, right? You're behind on gold. You win one fight at your tier 2 tower and you take a lane of racks in the time before the heroes respawn. That's just kind of insane.
That's true. It's only in Dota that that's possible because in League they would have won the game. Off of that one fight. So you're right. It is truly a Dota-only thing. And in Heroes of the Storm, they wouldn't be playing. So, yes, correct.
Forgot about that.
Desire. Is he going to get eyes on King Jungles here? He is in the smoke of the Ninja gear, but it's about to break. Can Desire do anything with this? All right, Warp Flare.
Warp Flare, KJ inside the Glimmer Cape.
Disengage. Yeah, he gets away.
Yeah. They really want to chase him, though. They are drawing lines towards the top side of the map, but he's a little bit too speed. Well, he actually comes back. Let's hope he doesn't wander towards the eastern part of the map. I don't think he will. He should be fine. You'll see Sniper plinking through this creep wave. Might have me wanting to set up. He's telling his team, maybe, guys, but nah, there's no way. You can't get this kill right now.
So, despite the puck being dead for a minute and a half, they don't really manage to accomplish much on Heroic's side with this slight overextension, I guess you could argue, for Mobe. At the very least, he lost the gem, which I think Heroic did recover.
Yes.
Wait, where is the gem?
It's on Jakiro.
Oh, they recovered it themselves? Avulus did?
Yeah. Avulus
so nobody picked it up when they killed the... Oh, yeah, they killed him from mega long range, of course. Yeah, they couldn't recover the gem. So, Avulus retained that as well. Now, 2.5 minutes until Roche spawn. I don't think Avulus necessarily are interested in even waiting for that. They have such an insane power timing right now with the Enigma with the Aghanim Scepter as well. It's just a matter of finding the moment of opportunity, and you have the best hero in the game to do it with, the Night Stalker. Dark Ascension.
Nullifier, of course. He throws it onto Schofield. Schofield waits his time. Only afterwards deploys the Ghost Scepter. Wisely done by the Ringmaster. That in tandem with the Defense Matrix afterwards will make sure that he stays fully topped up, ready for the fight.
I'm surprised they didn't try to take any initiative there on AVULUS' side, but maybe they didn't see a good angle with the Dark Ascension that they did pop. But now that this is going to be on cooldown, perhaps Heroic will be able to make a smoke move of their own when this expires. But for now, they're just going to huddle in base, since moving out is hard against an Izzult. Now it's over. See if that smoke comes into play or not. Slaughter will connect with the team. Do they even have a smoke? They don't have... Oh, they do. Okay, they just bought one.
Just got one, yeah. They need to do something soon because Gyrocopter is starting to get to that critical mass point. He has a Blessing queued up and he's about to finish his full Swift Blink. I feel like Swift Blink is really scary for this team. One of their big damage engines has been Analog. It's been kind of hard for them to reach him because Puck is generally busy on the front lines. But if Gyro can just ignore the rest of the team, you just jump Sniper, force him to back immediately and still kill him with the Flat Cannon. Very scary times coming in for Analog here.
Yeah, just combine the... You can combine Puck, Gyro, and kill almost any hero. Puck has the 25 talent of Piercing Coil, so you can just blink Coil Sniper, and he's pretty much dead from that alone. He needs to get boxed, but there's still the Nullifier to worry about at that point. So yeah, I think that's a very clear path to victory here for the side of AVULUS, just combining those two heroes together on a jump. It also doesn't have to be the Sniper. It can be the Tinker. That'll be a great find. Jump the Slaughter and burst him. Anybody will die to this hero combination right now.
Tier 2 tower claimed on the top side of the map. Yep. Still have some time before Roshan could potentially respawn. So Heroic perhaps could try and angle to find a pick into a Roshan take, but they might have to come back. Desire poking at the tower a little bit. The team is not leaving top. They're going to keep forcing in this wave, make sure that Heroic have to respond.
Yeah, Heroic are very, very clumped in their triangle, expecting potentially AVULUS to make a move there, but they're not going to. So this is a very awkward stalemate. If AVULUS knew where they were, they would just be hitting the high ground right now, but they have no idea where Heroic's heroes are. So both teams are kind of just hiding, completely hiding away in different corners, but Noun's in the way more... I say Noun's again, you know, we'll get there. AVULUS in a much more offensive position here.
It's like what you were saying the other day about how sometimes you out-mind game yourself. The straightforward, easy move, quote-unquote, you're expecting the opponent to be able to counter that so you don't make that move.
Right.
The opponent did nothing, and they got to save a lane of racks by literally doing nothing. It's kind of amazing.
Smiling Knight, gonna get hexed.
Okay, but I don't know if they have enough to completely bring him down. He does get off his BKB, turns back onto Yuma, throws in the homing missile. That being said, they forced out a BKB and it only cost them the Ghost Ship. Whatever. That's a worthwhile trade.
That's fine. Ghost Ship and Wheel of Wonder have similar short cooldowns, so they overlap entirely. As a matter of fact, they're both 70 seconds. So, yep, that's all right. If Heroic could find a fight again now, that would be potentially very big before the Gyro BKB is online. They're trying. Desire.
Gonna try go onto Desire. They want this Night Stalker and they are gonna get him. Look at the damage output from Analog. And now he's putting pressure onto the Puck, forcing him away at the very onset of this fight. He actually goes towards the north, Mobe. A bit of confusion happening from them. We'll split things up, ensure that they can't keep chasing towards the south where the rest of AVULUS are. So quick pick, but nothing more.
And after this happening, he's eyeing up the Yules now on the Night Stalker, but I think he would be wiser to buy BKB considering Slaughter has the Nullifier. Oh, they found
get a Nullifier out onto Jakiro, fly on the high ground, getting caught. He's actually gonna go down to the Assassinate. At the same time, Smiling Knight putting in the damage with the Gyrocopter, forcing the Kunkka onto the low ground and killing off the Slaughter. Buyback coming in from the Slaughter, as well as the dual buyback from AVULUS supports. We are going to have a full-throated 5v5 around this Roshan pit.
It's daytime.
BKBs, though. Who used BKBs in that fight? Kunkka used BKB. Slaughter still has it. Gyrocopter has his coming back online. So we still have a lot of fight potential here.
Yeah, this is a tense moment. And AVULUS know that they can kind of just wait it out. The waves will be pushed in over time, both bottom and mid. So Heroic have to, at some point, show some initiative in those two lanes. They're doing so right now. This gives you a moment of opportunity to perhaps look for a smoke if you want to, but I guess they don't have any. But if nothing else, they're buying time for the Night Stalker ult. Now Heroic feel pressure to finally get started on the Roach. They know it's only going to get harder as we approach nighttime. Mobe, start poking it.
Getting a little bit of vision with that Shiva's Guard. We have 20 seconds until the Night Stalker has his ultimate online. And this Roshan, perhaps not falling fast enough. Yeah, there's double black holes now. Smiling Knight just dropping the cooldown to cover this Roshan pit. Make it impossible to stick in the area. And unfortunately, your big damage engine, the sniper, there's no way you're going to put him into the pit right now without winning the fight. So this is going to take way too long. They're going to retreat on the high ground and wait for this engagement. AVULUS, though, they smoke and go for the full wrap. Desire has Dark Ascension back online. Look who's standing at the forefront of the fight. It's the sniper.
Oh,
this could be the worst case scenario. They find the sniper. He's gone for sure. Both him and Schofield literally die in the blink of an eye. And with Smiling Light putting out this right clicks, Whisper about to fall as well. Mobe going to try and finish him off. Cannot manage to do so. Nice tidal wave from the Kunkka to protect him. Yuma is still alive. Throwing back some damage in the opposite direction, hoping to threaten somebody. But they ignore him and just jump onto KJ, finding themselves the third kill of this fight. Sniper also brought back Cinder, and this is like a worst absolute case scenario for Heroic.
And you only used one black hole, so you're still favored in the secondary fight right now, I think. You won't have the Night Stalker vision, which is big, but this is a 5v4 with a second black hole, and I don't even know if Heroic are aware that Zibe has another one in the back pocket, so... Yep, it's already done. Banner's still on the ground. We'll see if anybody picks it up. Not really that important. Heroic, this is a full-on Hail Mary play. They need to find something with this smoke. If they are the ones to get jumped, the game is just over on the spot.
He also gets scanned. Mobe
Coiled up.
Analog. Gets him in the Dream Coil. Here comes the follow-up. Smiling Knight drops the Dream Coil ultimate down. Right next to the Kunkka. Yuma does have BKB at the ready, but it doesn't matter. The right-click damage of Smiling Knight is going to overwhelm him at this point. Whisper doing his best to try and get away. Unfortunately, he's now been scouted. Shebe finds him. Smiling Knight blinks in after him, and they are certainly going to get this kill. He's hoping against all hope that his blink cooldown will come back, but it will not. As we established yesterday, hope is a mistake, and he is now in the grave for 2 minutes without buyback.
Yeah, it's time to go straight down mid with this Night Stalker ulti, right? 30 seconds. You don't even need it, actually. It's about to be Natural Night as well. So this is easily going to be Megas for the side of AVULUS. They have all the advantages in the world. They have Aegis, they have Keys, they have Black Hole, Analog.
They feel you because they don't want to go for Megas. They want to go for the Jugular. Analog standing his ground. BKB active, throwing in the right clicks, and it's very effective with the Wheel of Wonder as well. Perfect placement from Schofield. It enables them to find the kill onto Mobe. Assassinate brings down Fly as well. 2 heroes down for the count. Spotlight trying to find Smiling Light on the back edges. Unfortunately for them, the one hero that could have helped facilitate this chase is the only hero that's dead. Slaughter in the grave. However, AVULUS went for the Jugular, failed to do so, so we are not at Mega's territory just yet.
I think Zibe got cancelled for like 5 seconds by a March of the Machines. They were trying to end the game right there with just a Blink Coil into Blink Black Hole, but Zibe couldn't get in. And they end up looking like fools here trying to dive there. They at least retain their Aegis. Oh, well, they also have the cheese. It's just in the backpack here of Mobe, but alright, Hope dies last for Heroic. They get one more fighting chance. Still, this is going to be against all odds and then some. As this is a long night that we're in with Dark Ascension ready. Approaching any fight without smoke is borderline impossible. But hey, we've seen other borderline impossible things happen, you and I, the last couple days, so it wouldn't be the first time Heroic could... Well, it would probably be the first time that Heroic would win a game like this, but it wouldn't be the first time that something crazy happened.
I think it's only the first series we covered together that was like a straightforward game of Dota. Everything else is just something insane has happened every single game. In this game right now, 24k gold lead in favor of AVULUS. We want to try and get this additional Tormentor, so some free gold for the entire squad. Does anybody not have a shard? Okay, Gyrocopter does not have shard, so both him and Night Stalker are eligible to pick this one up. Let's hope it's the Night Stalker. Game is hot. What can you do?
Well, the gyro one is pretty good too, right? Hunter in the Night, of course, is a great shard, don't get me wrong. But when you're about to end the game, I think you'd rather have the gyro one, because that could just win a fight if it's in the enemy base. It's hard for Night Stalker to use his shard in the enemy base. It's way easier to use it out on the map. But if nothing happens, you're happy to get this. Now you can just farm. And reset yourself up to full fight with Lincoln now completed for Desire. I guess he just doesn't like BKB or something. It's like a personal vendetta against the item. What do I know?
How many games in a row is this?
He sees Whisper. This is a big find. This is a really big find.
And Whisper has
BKB. Do they have a coil near?
What? Huh?
Did he miss that, or was he out of range, or can you not coil heroes that are already BKB'd? I'm pretty sure you can, right?
I think you can. I think he missed it because nothing was on Whisper. Even after he TP'd home, nothing was there, so I think he missed. Game is hot. What can we do?
Well, it's a short cooldown. Would have been a nice pick, because it would have given them a 5v4, but the advantage is still massively in AVULUS' favor. They will get another chance to go again. And with Dark Ascension, well, alright, not if he gets jumped first.
You do have the Older Seal Totem, though, to get him away from the Wheel of Wonder. And now Smiling Knight pushing forward. There's the Black Hole onto 4 heroes with the Smiling Knight right next to him, throwing in the right-click damage. That's it. GG, well played is called. They even walk into the loss, walk all 5 heroes in just to give him the full team fight. There we go. Give him the tips.
Into a 5-man hole, I think it was.
Yeah. Game. Hopefully not the last game. Hopefully not.
I'm not going to lie to you on air. I'm also not going to lie to you off air, for the record. But I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing the 2-1. But I will say this much. Heroic's lineup has insane snowball potential if everything clicks. This is the type of lineup that can crush a game completely if things go well. But if things don't go well, the recovery curve is really steep. So it's very binary here. If the early game goes poorly for Heroic, I have a hard time seeing them recover it. But if it goes well, I could see them crush AVULUS in the game like this before their lineup really comes online. So that you got to start from the beginning. Get a good laning stage going. And if you can, somehow find a kill or two in the top lane with your Darkseer Tiny, that would be massive. Or if you can get Ember out of the laning stage well against Dragon Knight, if he can outperform expectations, then these are some of the potential upsides for Heroic. But I am digging a little bit deep because I think fundamentally in this game, they're a little bit outdrafted on at least 2 of their lanes. And unfortunately, those are the 2 lanes that are going to bring the tempo.
Little bit of contestation down bottom. Desire 8 and Impalement Arts, we're trying to encroach upon the bounty, not going to be allowed. On the other side of the map, Whisper and Schofield attempted the same. They will also be prevented from this attempt. So just a 2-2 trade on the bounties. Some damage onto Schofield, but he's got tangos. He's going to be fine.
What AVULUS accomplished by doing this is they prevent Heroic from blocking the wave. And if Heroic don't get to block this wave, they don't get the favorable lane position that they want to start with. They even have to skill Avalanche and throw it out here and run away. So now you have Ursa and ET in a favorable lane position against a lane that cannot fight back against them. You just see Flies 1v2ing them right now. So this is already a great start for AVULUS up here with the way they got this placed and prevented the block.
Let's talk about my boy Fly for a second, right? After the stint to announce, or towards the end of the stint to announce, things weren't looking super solid. But should he just stick with AVULUS, man? I feel like he's found a new lease on life with this team. He's smiling again, outplaying heroes, actually doing some really sick, miniature plays as well. Like he's 3-4 years younger. Keep him on AVULUS for some reason. Are you asking me if
Fly should do that?
Yeah. Should AVULUS just keep Fly, basically, given how well he's performed when he's been standing in for them this tournament?
I don't think Fly gets to choose first of all. And I think this has been overall in the last couple of tournaments maybe AVULUS' weakest showing. So it's not like I don't feel like Fly has elevated this team to new heights. I think he's holding his own and I think he's playing well. So he's clearly showing that he's still got it. But I can't say with a straight face that with Fly they're just a so different team than with Soneko. I haven't got that overall impression. But Fly himself, I'm sure, would love to play with this stack of players because it's tough out there finding a good team nowadays. even if you're good, it can be difficult. So
other side of the map, you see Sibe doing his thing on the Sand King, just chilling. Not really too much we expect happening down bottom. They'll force him away. There's going to be a sentry down. Sentry wars have already happened. It's been won by KJ overall, so that gives Yuma the advantage in this lane. But that's something Shibe would have expected coming down here. He's going to find his farm, and Desire can open up some camps for him later if things do start going awry. He's already got a double stack of the hard camp. Good job.
Yeah, I'm assuming he wants to triple stack that for minute 3, and then Zipe is going to go and farm that with level 2 Sandstorm. So just standard textbook stuff with offlane Sand King. Should be able to accomplish that without any trouble.
This top lane is so funny, dude. I love dual melee lanes on both sides.
Yeah.
It's so hilarious.
It's a tough one for Darkseer, Darkseer Tiny though. They can't really realistically ever win this lane, but they can apparently win bottom. That's a good kill for Heroic to start with King Jungles. Getting the first blood onto Zibe.
Kind of unfortunate because he knew exactly where the sentry ward was going to be. And like you say, they're not going to find the stack. Maybe the courier does die. So KJ's courier dies. It actually had vision and a clarity. That's pretty solid because now that Desire's gotten this D-ward, he knows it's not going to be coming against them in a while. So Yuma not going to be able to zone out Shibe. Finally, the Sand King will have some presence in the lane.
Yeah, that courier kill is quite meaningful. Maybe you should buy a sentry here on Morph, to be honest. Waiting for the respawn of the courier on Ringmaster is quite costly. There's just so much safety now for Zibe for a while. Well, break his Sandstorm for some reason. I don't think there was any point in doing that there, but maybe he thinks they have more detection than they actually do. And, well, if nothing else, he can head over and stand and farm there 4 minutes. So maybe it was by design anyway. I guess this is a good time to uproot and leave. Is he going to stack this, though? Yes. Okay. Good enough time.
Top lane has just been very funny because Whisper and Schofield are just a shoot playing the lane whatsoever. Just continually diving behind. What can you do? You're playing against Ursa's Darkseer. You have to do some shenanigans in order to have a way forward. And it's working out. 21 CS for Whisper. Most of these, it seems, have been in the lane. Some of them have been creeps, but with the help of Schofield, they've been eliminating most of these waves. Ursa, of course, has been happily farming underneath the tower, now dragging a creep camp, a creep wave into the camp, so he's still chilling. And every now and then they'll just come back, harass Schofield a bit, but now Schofield puts damage. He's gotten level 3. Level 2 Avalanche toss, baby, and Fly is not safe either. KJ made a twin gauge rotation, Impalement odds, tame the beast, Iron Shell damage, and we have a double kill for Whisper on his Darkseer.
Might cost him Schofield at the end of all this with the Blood Grenade, but well worth it. He has a Fairy Fire. He still has spells.
Pray.
Mobs placed. Oh, the toss.
Oh my goodness, the toss back. There's no more mana on Desire. Schofield is running, but Smiling Knight has boots, has Earthshock. Okay, they still found the kill. It came very close though.
I mean, honestly, this is the start of something good for Heroic, though. This was a lane that I think, in theory, they have no business winning, but finding the kill onto Ursa and then the ET is massive for Whisper's game. You're not ahead even after this, but imagine without it. You're a level behind Ursa now, in spite of finding those 2 kills up there. So, at the very least, it keeps hope alive that Darkseer and Ember together can start building a game.
Speaking of Darkseer, he is actually middle right now with Schofield. We're trying to find the vacuum onto Mobe. I mean, as well as things are going on that top lane much better than expected, this mid lane, unfortunately, is going as expected. Analog is having a really tough time dealing with this DK.
Oh,
he actually is going to find himself dead. He's gone. There's no way he survives this. Oh my goodness. It gets worse, Cinderin. Because now they go back to just hitting the tower. It's got about, like, what, 25% duration on the Dragon Knight form? This is going to be some hefty damage on the building.
At the very least, the siege creep is dead here, so Mobe can't activate that on the tower as well. But yeah, this is a mid lane that Ember just doesn't win. You know, you can put on your history goggles as much as you want and be like, hey, didn't this used to be kind of good for Ember? It just isn't, okay? It doesn't matter what you think this used to be like. Every single game I see in these pro games, Dragon Knight bodies Ember. He wins it significantly every time. And As you said, kind of the expected result here. I would say Analog maybe doing a little bit worse than par for this lane, but as we established in the last game, laning mechanics, also not Analog's absolute forte. So I think in matchups where other players would maybe edge out at 5 extra CS here, Analog will not be that guy. But rotations is where it's at, so let's hope for him that he can find some of those together with the Darkseer. They lose both Shrines of Wisdom, though. That's pretty bad news for Heroic. They need these levels on their support. Schofield level 4, King Jungle's level 4. Desire's level 5.5 on the Mirana now. Fabulous. This is going to be an early Moonlight Shadow.
Mobe into Dragon Knight form again, putting pressure onto this mid lane Ember Spirit. At the same time, Smiling Knight and Fly just doing what they want in the top lane. I mean, the creep skipping was working earlier on, but the move that they made to come middle did sort of disrupt the mechanics a little bit, so they're not going to be as easily able to accomplish that. Which does mean that Fly has license to roam a bit, and he's come towards middle, both him and Desire. They're hoping for a Dragon Knight stun into further damage, but not going to find it. And Shibe just wants to get his phase. That's all he's concerned about right now.
Oh, if they find the Dragon Tail now, it's not fishing for the arrow. All right, Analog did turn around, just barely. Nice attempt. I think it's good to try the arrow first. He's never getting caught by the Dragon Tail there, so you're just trying. But the stacks, they got all of it on Heroic. They share a bit of experience, but at least they got all the gold in the end. So that's good news. That's going to be the Vanguard for Whisper. Probably looking to complete the full halberd against Ursa.
Would you like a surprising stat, Mr. Sindri?
Yes, I love surprises.
This is the latest tower we've seen taken the entire day that we've been costing.
That's not surprising, because I was also there for it.
Whoa! Oh, okay, so there must be something that you weren't there for. I see.
I mean, it's not a surprise, because I've called it.
Oh my goodness. Well, if I'd asked you yesterday, are we gonna have, what's the fastest tower we'll have taken on a day of Dota? But before we started, you would have said,
that it was 6:30 in 2 or 3 of the games. I would definitely be surprised at that. However, this might be not surprised about this second tower, potentially.
Can they defend this even? I don't think they can. Like, they have Darkseer Wall available, but Tiny is still level 4, Ringmaster is still level 4. I don't know about this one. They're coming with everybody, though. Analog has made his way to the side of the map. They have a TP available from Yuma. Let's see what they choose to do. Mobe instead just backs off. Doesn't really have that much interest. Once they've drawn the rotations, they're like, all right, it's okay for us.
Some nice stacks being farmed here by Heroic. Darkseer can be a big help in other heroes shining. It's part of what he does. Get them some nice net worth from the Ancients. So, I mean, while all this is happening, Yuma is having a good time. So, the win condition for Heroic, a lot of their games will be Yuma getting very farmed on a hard carry when I see them doing the best. And Morphling off to a hot start is definitely good news. However, there are some pitfalls in this game with the instant stuns and the Ursa, so he has to be very careful with his hero placement and maybe with his itemization too. I wonder if this is a game where you go Linken's at some point because of Dragon Tail and Burrow Strike, or if you have to go flat out to PvP. Getting both sucks, so I guess you have to pick your poison.
Still going to be some time before the full decision is made, as we do see KJ able to dodge the arrow. Shout out, bonus movement speed from Escape Act. Great times. Now the question is now what? Yuma is going to make his way through the Twin Gate. Wants to connect with his team so they can open up the map a little bit. Definitely feeling like we need some buildings. Oh, he changes his mind. Maybe Darkseer told him, I don't think we have enough pressure to actually successfully do this. So I would like to see a Heroic expanding the map somewhat. I think that'll help them out quite a bit, because if they leave it up to AVULUS, AVULUS are going to get their playmaking items, the blink on DK, the blink on the Sand King, which is just emerged now, and they'll force you to lose your map. So ideally, if you could make plays earlier, it would be nice, and a play like that is necessary. Getting a quick kill on Mirana, removing her from the map, and crucially getting gold into the hands of the Morphling.
That was a cute play from Heroic. They saw Mirana for like 30 seconds. She was standing there leeching experience, and just they let her do it until the Morphling connected over, so they had a guaranteed kill with slide chains into arrow. So they do get it. Of course, she does leech a little bit, and it's somewhat of a commitment, keeping 3 heroes down here. So AVULUS is still progressing nicely on all 3 of their cores. But for the time being, you take what you can get on Heroic. It's hard to really build a big advantage or a big fight right now with your lineup. It's something that's going to come later when you hit a couple of better timings. So the Darkseer will be going for the Crimson Guard instead of the Halberd. That will be very nice for a little bit of time. Yeah, Scorpio, well, he's dead. So.
I am actually quite surprised that he's going forward here. This Observer ward that's behind the tier 1 tower, that's his ward. And he actually scouted 2 of the heroes coming forward. So this is a little bit surprising from Schofield that happened. And now they're also pressuring middle. Analog. Okay, there was a Moonlight Shadow that was used out to bail Fly, but he needs to be careful. There are heroes that were encroaching upon him. And thankfully, though, Analog does hide in the trees. He's not going to get caught.
Mobe and Zibe now. A fearsome duo. Zibe's level 11, by the way, on the offlane Sand King. Very, very far ahead of his counterpart in the Darkseer, who just cracked level 9. So it's an easy top tower, and this is starting to be a little bit reminiscent of game number 1, where AVULUS just took all the tier 1s first and got some nice map control. Heroic fought their way back in that one, but obviously in the end didn't get out of it with a win. This one, is it just going to be the same story once over? It's a fast battle here for Ursa. Can't deny it. 13 minutes with phase. I would imagine AVULUS want to look for bot tower now. Why not?
Yeah, I'm stopping you. Might as well just put as much pressure on the map as you can. You see Fly has level 6 as well. ET Splitter. Definite, ET Splitter in combination with the Sand King. That sounds terrifying in terms of the damage output. Cannot wait to see how that happens.
Under attack.
They just want the tier 1 tower. KJ is here. They don't have that much support in behind them. It's only him and the Morphling. They will need another hero or two if they want to feel fully confident. And Analog will oblige them. He's making his way over. Unfortunately, as he does so, AVULUS have lost their appetite for this push. So they just end up wasting their time because Schofield also made a twin gate rotation to be present for this fight.
Yeah. Speaking of Schofield, this is going to be one of his faster blinks, unless he ends up dying in a moment. He has 1900 gold in the bank, so it should be a 15-minute blink. Which, you know, with Brown Boots, it's not the best, but I just find in this patch in a lot of the games that we see, 4 Tinies just struggle to find the gold. So, it's not the worst timing for sure. Staying on par with the Marana.
Yesterday, his fastest one yesterday was at 16, so he does seem on pace to be able to beat that one out. It will be Marana jumping away. Moonlight Shadow being popped off. Impalement Art will connect. Does Yuma find the... Oh my goodness. The vision was there, but he does not have a point into the Adaptive Strike. Doesn't really matter. Not enough damage to get the kill. In the meantime, they're going to use that Moonlight Shadow to re-engage onto Schofield. Doesn't die just yet. The Echo Stomp. ET Splitter will be there. Shout out to KJ for providing some additional heal. So Schofield, I think, will be okay.
Yeah, very disciplined disengage there from AVULUS. I don't know if they actually had to do that, but they were anticipating a massive rotation from Heroic. Not giving him the opportunity to fly.
Actually, just waveforms forward. Analog does find the 2 heroes chains here. They're looking for Fly, but the epicenter combination with the Borrow Strike is going to be there. KJ with the escape back. Make sure Yuma doesn't take too much damage. Taking the beast back onto Shibe. The Sand King is down. Stolen Sand King form to stun up Smiling Knight. He's held in place with the Wheel of Wonder. Has to stop escaping this fight. Does have the Enrage, but with the waveform forward, Yuma has the right-click damage. He cannot venture north through the Darkseer wall. So he ends up dead. 2 for 1. Both cores, you only lose a support just as the Tormentor is available. Cinderin, what am I going to say? Deja vu again, fam. This happens every game with Heroic.
Yeah, if they had any follow-through on that massive epicenter double Burrow Strike combo, they would have crushed that fight. But they missed the arrow. They missed the arrow, and Ursa was not able to hit during the epi to kill the target that they were isolating. So that was just a little bit of a miss from AVULUS in terms of the execution. That's going to cost you. Heroic are not going to, you know, not punish mistakes like that, and they get themselves a nice win out of it. Now, they cannot take the Tormentor just yet. But you would imagine that they want to start setting up for it now, especially with the Crimson Guard. This is relatively safe to take. Fly will try to stop them, but Spirit on cooldown for another 10. It might just already be dead. He hasn't ready again. Yeah, it will be. Morph is very fast at this.
Yep. He just got his
jungles.
Manta style. Crimson Guard finished on Whisper. So easy grab. And that also gave, they're not that far away in terms of the goal from having a full Mage Slayer from the Ember Spirit now as well. And given how torrid his early game was going, very, very good. Thankfully though for AVULUS, they will use this time to go into the Roshan pit. You know, the newfangled Tormentor for Roshan trades, it reminds me of you remember the good old days for Roshan for tier 2 on Radiant side trade? That was good times.
Oh yeah, what a great patch and time that was. Literally every game. At least nowadays, this isn't every game that this is the trade, but back then it genuinely felt like an every game kind of thing. Alright, Heroic stabilize once more, just like in game number 1. Now let's see if they can string it together in the mid game this time. Epi being channeled. Zippy is thinking about it. Onto Whisper. It's quite a deep dive, and he seems to have a read that they're here. So nicely backing off onto the left side. This attack will not be coming in.
Yes. I like his build as well on Whisper. Going straight in for the Pipe of Insight after the Crimson God. We'll probably come back later for the Guardian Greaves, but understanding that he needs these survivability auras sooner than he needs the heals for his team, I like this quite a bit.
I think if I would like to see him potentially even buy Dagger after the Pipe. He's queued up the Shard, but looking at their lineup, there's incredible value to finding a good vacuum. You set up Wheel of Wonder, you set up Avalanche, you set up a double Slight Chains. So Vacuum is a very powerful spell in this game, and with a Blink Dagger against all these 4 melee heroes, you're likely to find at least 2 heroes together for a back wall. That, a lot of the time that's enough. But yeah, I definitely agree with his build path so far. I'm happy he didn't go for the Halberd, but rather went for Crimson. I think it was a better choice.
About to get assaulted right now. It does have his own Burrow Strike to escape the stolen Burrow Strike. And they just lack the damage from Yuma to finish him off. But proof of concept, and more importantly, a tier 1 tower. That's what they really wanted. Now we have a Moon Knight Shadow. Doesn't seem like they're going to gain too much off the back of this. The Tiny is not showing. Schofield's just chilling. Now they see Sibe Sandstorm, so they know where these heroes are probably at. So nothing will happen from there. Perhaps they popped it thinking that he was in more danger than he actually was.
Yeah, doesn't really seem like too much is going to come from this, and we're just back to farming for a little bit, and that begs the question, who is benefiting more from this? I think AVULUS would love to use their Aegis, so if they don't find a fight with this in the next 2.5 minutes, I think Heroic already, that's a little bit of a win by itself. Especially now that DK has picked up a BKB as well. You've definitely geared up for fighting on AVULUS with Aegis plus BKB. You know, just spending it in the jungle feels rather counterproductive. Fields gonna show himself and get out.
Sort of a similar sentiment to what you were expressing last game, right, about Ricky, that if nothing is happening on the map, Ricky is losing. If you're playing DK and you went Blink BKB as your first opening items and nothing is happening and you only have 1 kill, you do not feel happy about the situation.
Yeah, I would agree with that for the most part. Now, of course, you could argue Ember is a little bit in the same boat, but he has the losing matchup, so it's harder for him to accomplish as much on the map than it is for DK, considering he's playing with the inherent advantage. And if you don't want to find kills on DK, I mean, that's not necessarily something you have to do, as we see a dead Mirana at bottom, probably. Oh, nice footwork from Desire.
But unfortunately, wait, did he get a stolen arrow? No, that was a real arrow into Yuma. Stolen arrow didn't connect, but doesn't matter. They still find the kill.
Cute attempt. If you wanted to farm on DK, you could have. This was definitely a game where you didn't have to buy BKB. If you just wanted to ramp up, you had every opportunity to itemize greedier. But now that you did do this, you would think that plays are on the cards. Also, Sankey just picked up Ags and level 50.
Yeah.
He is super strong. This is the peak of the hero, or, well, some would probably argue his peak is even late game nowadays, but this is his other peak. He's Ags complete and level 15 Talon. Very, very strong hero right now.
He wants to box, he wants to scrap with the gang. I mean, later he'll get the Revenant's Brooch, of course, but now they smoke. They know it's time to make something happen. We do not buy Aghanim Scepter on Sand King to just sit back and farm. So Let's see where these heroes are at. But unfortunately, unlike in the previous game when they had the Night Stalker, their vision control isn't as clear in this one. The scan does connect onto Yuma, but Schofield is ready and able to break the smoke. Blinks away, still gets caught, however, by Mobe. However, sacrificed himself for the carry. It's a trade you will probably take.
It was a very nice smoke break. He had excellent positioning to stand there and break it, and then he blinked off as they were about to find him, but they still were able to connect. But as you said, it is still protecting his core, and all AVULUS get is the 4 tiny as well as a tower, and now their Aegis is burnt. So Ursa with his BKB is finally ready to really fight, but no second life now. Zibe, however, getting a lot of valuable info here. King Jungles is screwed. Can he get more, though?
Yeah, Bar Strike, Arrow will connect as well, so they will be able to find King Jungles. Yuma, sadly, not able to find Revenge. Even Whisper TP bottom, but everybody's out from AVULUS already. By the way, he did change his build. He got the shot now, but he's immediately angling for the Blink Dagger thereafter. So he got the memo. He understands.
Yeah. That's right. If I say something is good and you get it, then you understand.
Don't call you the Emperor for no reason, gang.
These players better get it. Think for a minute and come to the same conclusion as I do. Then you're right. Only then. Wait, who was queuing up Nullifier? Dragon Knight. Okay.
DK,
So that will obviously be great this game. Break Surge, break Iron Shell, break the Flame Guard, break the box. Man, the amount of dispellable stuff this game is incredible.
They're actually getting two
I
of
was
them.
going to say they might want more than one, and Ursa's queuing one up as well after his MKB. Anticipating he will need it against Morph, which is correct. Butterfly, of course, on the way. No secret, he's showing off the Eagle Song, as well as a Backpack Talisman. Schofield trying to cut the wave. This is his death. Seeing it in slow motion. Seeing it in very slow motion.
7 seconds, 5, 4. He might actually live, bro. I don't think he might not actually die here. Oh my god, he's actually gonna live. Arrow will be there. It will not connect. So he's fine. He's out.
I think Fly
very slow motion, fam.
Yeah,
Mid lane though, this might be different because Mobe is going down the hill, runs into 4 Radiant heroes, has to pop the BKB and TP out instantly. So that is the 9-second burnt, but mid lane they might not have a way to get him out on the Sand King, but he does. Barrow Strike is good with the blink. Alright. We'll at least get them the tier 1 tower, so you keep Schofield alive, you force back the Sand King, you get out a BKB charge, and you get a tier 1. Life is good, gang.
I'm really surprised Schofield got out of that. I think Fly had a good full second where a Stomp would have probably hit or forced the Tiny back toward himself, which would have also been potentially enough for Mirana to reach any sort of damage and prevent Blink. But Schofield got away with it. Well done. This is classic Schofield, trying to thread the needle on the side lanes. A lot of the time he dies for it, sometimes he doesn't. But most importantly, it makes all the space in the world for the other heroes in his team to get to scale. And now, say scale, Morph and Ursa are actually neck and neck now. Seems like Smiling Knight has caught up slightly to Yuma. So he gets that MKB. Nowhere is safe for the Morph. Morph will be playing without BKB for quite a while. He's going for Aghanim's Shard here to protect himself from all the stuns so he can still get the shift off. That's where Ursa is problematic. Even if you get the shift off, he's going to do so much damage and put those stacks into you that it's going to be hard to turn around and re-engage later in the fight. So, Shard isn't even a fail-safe. And now he's queuing up BKB. He's going to need that too. They're going to see each other. Yuma and Smiling Knight. Oh, Smiling Knight very quickly disengaging us. Expecting that this is a big threat, but it's all smoke and mirrors. There's actually no threat at all. But Heroic buys some info with that. They know, okay, since Ursa was scared when we walked in there, Morph was probably, or excuse me, Ursa was probably alone up there, or at least had very little backup. So we are going to smoke across the map and try to find another opening. But
fortunately, Fly read the move. Fly read the move. Was able to block this. Actually, Smiling Knight stuck around. They might get caught with the Searing. Oh my goodness, did both of the creeps tank the Searing chains? Are you kidding me? No, Enrage, never mind. He just had the status resist, he got out. Fly invis for a moment with the Moonlight Shadow. They don't have any further reveal here. There will finally be a sentry drop down. They get the Wheel of Wonder out with the vacuum onto Ursa. He's going to end up being killed. Desire unable to open up the space here as Yuma with the stolen Starfall, gets the double kill onto the Mirana as well. That was, I thought the Ursa was going to be able to escape with Fly breaking the smoke, but unfortunately, the chase is too good from Heroic.
Oh, Zibe too now. Are they going to get him as well?
Starfall misses. Do they have reveal? Where's the reveal? Dust? It doesn't connect.
He's dead.
Oh, he went back into the dust range. I think he was just outside of the dust range with the sandstorm, but as he wandered back in, easy reveal, easy kill. A third kill in this skirmish all across the map for Yuma.
I cannot believe that smoke worked out that well for them. It's one thing to get the Ursa kill, but then they also get Sand King mid and the ET too. Ursa never got the BKB off. I think he thought he was safe, like you said, after enraging off the chains and running off to the right, but Schofield found a toss Ava combo into instant stun follow-up. He didn't have a chance. So now Heroic pull ahead by a bit, especially the Morph now, creating some distance to the Ursa is very valuable. Delaying the MKB keeps Yuma a lot safer. I know the Roshan can spawn any moment, so King Jungles is scouting the pit. Unfortunately for them, it's going to be almost a fully max respawn. Max respawns in 20 seconds, and it's still not up. But we're counting down now, a few seconds to go, and here it will be just when he stops checking.
Now, Fly is going to check with the ET Spirit. He knows that there aren't any Radiant heroes in the pit right now. However, Radiant side are also aware that Roshan should be around this time coming back. So he can't afford to give up this positioning. So they smoke themselves. Last time was a resounding success. Let us see the angle they'll pursue on this engagement. AVULUS are also going for the completely full wrap here. Are they going to get away with this? They don't even scan for this Sind. Man, this is a big risk, but so far, hasn't been caught out just yet. Yuma on the high ground. Yuma's the first one caught out. Arrow's gonna connect onto him. Do they have the damage to kill him? Not just yet. There's the Borrow Strike, but he's still alive. Able to wait for him out. Whisper's gonna be the one that falls first. Schofield now gonna eat the rage of this Ursa and find himself ripped to shreds. 2-0. They get the priority target out, but they still are losing heroes. Analog. He's gonna get scouted by an observer ward. He's TPing out. Sibe doesn't Borrow Strike him. He was in the trees.
The ward couldn't see him.
Oh my god. That's actually crazy.
That single tree saved his life. I mean, it's obviously deliberate that he's TPing in that corner, but I thought they were going to be able to get him. That's a very nice escape, but ultimately a big win for the side of AVULUS getting the opener. Well, they couldn't kill the Morph because of his shard. He did survive. But he also, like we talked about, he gets hit multiple times by the Ursa and exits the fight completely.
Here they come. Wheel of Wonder. Smiling Knight does manage to grab the Aegis. Analog cannot remove it. And immediately King Jungles ends up losing his life. They do take away the Aegis though with Analog and Yuma. But it's only these two cores that are fighting in this fight. They need backup. They need allies. They get the roots out onto Shibe. And look at the right-click damage from Yuma.
No way.
Waveform up. Not going to be able to kill him. However, Schofield is there with the Avalanche. They make sure that Shibe does go down. Schofield on the chase, hoping to grab Mobe, toss him back into the team. But Mobe blinked in the opposite direction. The fight will end. The Aegis is removed, and Heroic, despite losing the earlier fight, immediately make a turnaround despite having the numerical disadvantage.
Yeah, that's honestly a pretty solid response from Heroic to make the read that they can get away with that. It looked dodgy for a moment, but I think the arrow, again, from Desire did not connect on the mark. If that hits the Morphling, we're looking at a very, very different outcome there, but fortunately for Heroic, they do dodge and dive away. Now, they find a free Fly.
Finds high ground. They get Fly. Fly doesn't have buyback. They're going to force a fight here on the high ground. Nice glyph, but they'll glyph their own wave as well. They have an amplified damage rune on Yuma. They do not want to let this opportunity go. They popped a banner as well. So they did manage to steal the banner despite not being able to claim the Aegis. Man, that last fight around the Roshan pit now looking even more consequential in hindsight.
They actually get a lane off of that. That's amazing for Heroic to get that kind of an outcome when you just lost the fight and the Roche. The follow-up fight was good enough. The Sand King in the end getting caught. I can't help but feel like Zibe kind of killed himself there with the Stinger cast. But from his perspective, it's hard to know that that's going to be the end of that. Now finally Smiling Knight with a big pickup. MKB available, but now Morphling with the BKB. So the power dynamic not really shifting all that much. He's able to match the pace with one extra item still.
Ursa has both bars, so he's not deciding between monkeys and Black King bars. Yuma wants Hurricane Pike coming up next. And with the full lane of Rax, 3k gold lead now back in favor of Heroic. The question is, what do they do here after? One of the things, though, is that you are still super reliant on this Morphling, right? He's doing a lot of the work for the lineup. Every time that he's been either zoned away or killed off in a fight, Heroic just feel very, very, very ineffective.
Yeah.
But he still hasn't died the entire game. So it's now on AVULUS to try and figure out additional ways to try and lock him down. We're still quite away from the nullifier on the Ursa. I think they will need the double nully at this point, the way things are unfolding right now.
Could be potentially a Hex coming down the line for Sand King. Would be one way to try to deal with it. Yeah, once again, AVULUS, like you said, on the offensive here with the smoke plus Moonlight Shadow. Heroic seem well aware of this. They're hidden way behind their tier 2s. Off to the left.
They're scan connected, so they saw them coming.
And the one player out on the map showing on lanes is Schofield. And they won't find him either. So clean disengage. AVULUS, burn. Smoke plus Moonlight for nothing.
While Schofield was pushing out bottom, Whisper was pushing out top. They went through mid, so sort of drastically reduced the possibilities of where they could be on the map. Heroic doing good stuff right now. So the question is making sure that they continue to scale with this game. Schofield wants to get himself a Wind Waker, which will certainly be very, very good as an additional salvation tool. Between Wind Waker, KJ buying the Blink Dagger so he has Blink Escape Act, and Yuma, of course, having the attribute shift from the shot during stuns. Just feels like it's becoming harder and harder to fully deal with this Morphling. And unfortunately, man, Smiling Knight on this Ursa, he is very, very farmed, but I haven't felt him like ripping heroes apart, you know? The kind of Ursa that you want in this game. He's participated in these 5 kills, but he doesn't even feel like the most dangerous hero on his team right now. I'm much more concerned about being initiated on by Shibe. Every time we've seen the Ursa outside of like the earlier portions of the game, as everyone's been clumped up, he's just been, okay, you know? Hasn't really done too much.
I can't put my finger on it why, but this feels to have been happening a lot more lately with Ursa games. And it's also when it's the more elite teams playing it. There's just something that happened that makes Ursa less impactful in the games. I've seen games where I'm like, oh my god, this is an amazing last pick Ursa, and then at the end of the day, can't tell you exactly why, but you know, you're just seeing the results, you're seeing the games play out. Maybe players have been better at itemizing, they've been better at navigating fights, and the overall pace perhaps overtakes him a little bit somehow. Which sounds weird to say out loud that you're outpacing Ursa, but he just needs quite a bit of time to get Battle Fury plus Blink. And then once he has it, if you have 1 or 2 bad fights, you feel really far behind again. You can see Smiling Knight with a 2, 3, and 3 scoreline. Those couple of deaths, your hero really falls off a cliff a lot of the time. That said, they can easily kill a lot of the heroes in this game in a stun, just not the Morphling. And I think that's probably what AVULUS need to realize now is any other access point to the fight is better. I genuinely think Morphling is the worst hero they can jump unless they can convincingly kill him 100 to 0. If they get him to 10% and he resets out, I think now we're at the point where you can re-engage on Yuma. I think he's strong enough. So kill the Ringmaster, kill the Darkseer especially. If you burst Whisper, that's a great start. But now he has a BKB too.
I'm genuinely astonished that KJ only has 2 deaths in this game. I feel like he could have easily died a lot more, but they've been very good about the positioning. Also, speaking of positioning, Schofield drew multiple heroes back home. Both Shibe and Fly had to go back to defend the push that he was mounting. So that opens up space for the rest of the team to smoke and take a twin gate. Did he leave Vision behind? It doesn't seem like it, but he does have the Watcher. They see the Ursa Sind. The Bear, Smiling Knight. Could he be in danger here? Schofield being very skittish about this approach, though, because there are other Observer Ward scouts, nobody. So they'll ping that. Oh my god, Mobe just blinked forward. He does still have the BKB, however, he could still die here. The Avatars will be there onto 2. It's Morana and the DK. They don't care about no Morana. We want the Dragon Knight, and we will find him. Yet again, a super successful smoke coming in from Heroic.
This ward has been here for a long time. This ward is 3 minutes old, standing on the high ground there. So dewarding from AVULUS has been inefficient. They definitely had the time to try to cover this area, but have been unable to, and that pick is big. You could potentially force high ground here, but you actually, even with DK dead, you still need to be a little bit careful, because the ET Sand King plus Ursa combo could obliterate heroes. Arrow connects.
Ursa gets a forward jump in with the Earth Shock after the arrow. Lots of damage onto the Morphling, but Escape Act will buy him some time. Sebe now dragged back into the engagement, forces a BKB out of him, as well as Smiling Knight. These will not last forever. The Ember Spirit from Analog bouncing this way and that way, forcing out these heroes to use all their spells. So now BKBs are down. Fly's bonus is about to expire as well on the ET. That being said, 15 seconds before the DK emerges, so there is still opportunity here for AVULUS to defend this, and I think Heroic should probably retreat to be safe.
I can't help but wonder if AVULUS could have actually killed the Morph there if they dropped everything. When they open with Arrow, if you throw ET ult, full on Epicenter, just blink in and just blast him with everything you have, maybe he can die there, unless Ringmaster gets Escape Act off immediately to mitigate a lot of the magic component of the damage. They get away from it though. Looked like AVULUS were, first of all, not sure their arrow was going to hit, and secondly, once it did, were not fully ready to immediately pounce with everything they had. But mission accomplished in terms of defending. It's going to cost them a BKB charges, but in 30 seconds they will be available again. And Heroic barely doing structural damage.
Could be a potential time for Orochi. The big man is online, but Heroic right now still prioritizing shoving in these waves, controlling the triangle, but now they're starting to wander over in that direction. Analog wants to go take a peek, picks up a Haste Rune for good measure. Well, he's not gonna go take a peek, even though the big man's right there.
Smoke again.
Heroic, they're in trouble because AVULUS are gonna smoke themselves. Let's see if they can actually find a decent initiation. It's gonna be the first jump from Schofield in tandem with the vacuum. They will rip Schofield almost apart. He buys time with the Yules, and now in comes the wall from the Dogs here. Yuma, BKB active, putting pressure in onto Smiling Knight, forcing him back within the base. Analog with himself and Yuma able to hold down and kill or fly on this Elder Titan. So they've only gotten the one kill. It did cost Vacuum Wall, it did cost the BKB out of the Morphling. So I think Fly is probably not too disheartened by this sequence of events.
AVULUS are just unable to get vision. That's the biggest difference maker in all of this. It's why Heroic are winning the fights, is that they have the ward every single time in the last couple of engagements. So if AVULUS can't find a way out on the map and place down vision as they engage the fight, they're never going to get the beautiful connections that you're looking for with Sentinel ET. Those heroes are heavily dependent on vision. And yeah, in spite of having Moonlight Shadow and Smokes, they're just incapable of getting the wards out. And, you know, Heroic once again going to capitalize on this. This would be a Roshan for them, for the Morph. And Yuma is really starting to reach critical mass. Now, Daedalus in the quick buy. He's close to having it. 5k gold in the bank. Aegis. And yet another fight that Ursa does not even find a kill. I think Smiling Knight's last kill has been 15 minutes away by now.
Does he get out of here? He actually might just be dead. He still has 20 seconds without having access to his BKB. He will try to get himself back through the defender's gate. Shebe channeling the Epi perhaps, but no. They just force toss Smiling Knight forward. He blinks out to safety. The fact that we're at the stage now where we have to resort to this just to keep our carry alive does not feel good for AVULUS. And they still have to deal with the potential high ground defense here because, well, the wave is pretty far back and they already have the mid lane. But I do not think that Heroic have any reason to retreat right now. But Mobe, he jumps in, find the Ember Spirit. Do they have the damage to kill him? He's still alive for now. Unfortunately, Smiling Knight just hasn't been able to rip through him. Finally, he does. Ember Spirit will go down. Yuma also going to be privy to the damage of this Ursa. Big vacuum coming in from the Dogs here. What's going to be the follow-up? Wheel of Wonder is going to be there with the right click coming out from Yuma. Everybody else now needs to run. Will they be able to keep this chase? Analog throwing in the remnants forward, but he finished his last one. And with the Moonlight Shadow, they'll be able to find this retreat. Sebe, he Burrow struck back into the team. Okay,
double buybacks.
Getting a reveal out of them. Double buybacks from AVULUS. Mobe getting the stun out onto Analog, but the vacuum of Whisper stops them putting in the damage onto the Ember Spirit. Analog will continue to live. Shout out to the Dogs here, man.
This is These are some close moments. If Smiling Knight gets BKB off in the opener, they kill Analog way faster and maybe build themselves a better fight. But Heroic with some quick counterplays, especially on Whisper. I think these mainly vacuums he's finding. The walls don't even seem to be that impactful, which is not that surprising given the lineups. But yeah, just Clutch coming in with the auras fast, getting off a vacuum, disrupting the fight, setting up his course for success together with Schofield on the Tiny. That was, this time around they did kill the Morph, so that was an Aegis fight. AVULUS have now shown that they are capable. The Basher pickup on Smiling Knight has finally yielded something as he got a singular kill there on the Ember. Just a matter of isolating the targets.
So what you're saying is it's progress, baby. That's what I like to hear.
It is. I'm still, in some ways, I'm surprised it isn't going better for AVULUS with the types of jumps that they're finding some of the time. Like, they get in on the Ember. You would think that if they just piled in on him, used all their BKBs and blasted him, that he would die immediately. But perhaps the concern is, well, if we use all our BKBs, he's going to buy back, return with a remnant, and we're cooked, right? We have nothing left defensively in the tank. So perhaps that's the rationale here. Not sure. Desire breaks the smoke. Nicely done from the high ground. Needs to find a way out of this.
This is necessary because they have an observer ward by Mobe. They were trying to close in on the DK. Thankfully, he's right next to Fly, who's able to be like, hey man, don't worry, we got you. Throw out a spirits just in case on the backlines. That was kind of scary though, but everybody from AVULUS does manage to escape. I do think their item routes, it's like, it does feel kind of good, right? Eventually you get Abyssal Blade for the Ursa in tandem with the Nullifier. Eventually you'll have the Refresher, potentially Hex on the Sand King. Eventually you'll have this Bloodthorn on the Dragon Knight, and with these BKBs pretty much all down to like 7 or 6 seconds at this moment in time, you will start finding some impact as the game goes longer and longer. So Heroic, I don't think you can rest on this 12k gold lead. It's not going to be as relevant in the next few minutes.
I think from a theoretical standpoint, I think the Dire lineup wins this game ultra late. I think so, despite your carry being Ursa, because you have Elder Titan, and Sand King is like a hidden super carry in Dota nowadays. And the Dragon Knight, when 6 slotted, also becomes a late game monster. So yes, the potential for AVULUS is definitely there, but I'm not too inspired by their inability to kill heroes in the last couple of fights they've taken, where from my perspective it looks like they should just be able to burst these guys really quickly, but there's something stopping them every time, whether it's their own BKB usage or it's just super clutchness every time from Schofield and the boxes. You've got the Nullifier, right? You'd think that if DK just jumps in together with Ursa and they pop their stuff, that guy is dead, except Morph. They haven't quite been able to accomplish it so easily just yet. Maybe the Abyssal will be a game changer. It's now available for Smiling Knight.
Despite all this, Heroic definitely still in the commanding position. Satanic now being grabbed by the Morphling. You had issues killing him before, well, good luck now, gang. Good luck now. He practically has Sunder available if you have Daedalus Satanic as a Morphling.
Yeah. That is indeed enough, but if everything connects, he can die. He can 100% die in this game. If they land all their stuff in combination, any hero in Dota at this point dies to the Dire lineup if things land. So just need to see if the side of AVULUS can bring it together. Easier said than done, especially with vision disadvantage that they've had for the majority of the last 15-20 minutes. If they can find an opening, perhaps can build upon it.
Do you want to do the same trigonometry challenge from last game for AVULUS? You know, consider the available areas of the map.
It's a bit different 45 minutes in. In that game, it was like at minute 12 or something that they've lost all their towers and they were starting to huddle around their base, which is way too early, especially with the Tinker lineup. The nature of this game, 45 minutes in, you're behind. You are going to be timid and you're going to be struggling to get out, but that makes it all the more important that when you do make the moves, you have to have the wards and you have to get some sort of vision down. It doesn't even need to be the best, you know? Sometimes you just place a ward somewhere so you see something. And that could maybe some hero's going to walk over it, or you break out into a team fight, you put a ward down immediately, and that is the reason your Dragon Knight finds a Dragon Tail on the Ringmaster. You know, like whatever it is, those things win games. So, gotta look for that. You can tell from Heroics now. Oh, Zibe, this is...
Zibe, he barrow struck forward. That And he BK. Oh, it's a 6-second. It doesn't really matter.
He
But
felt very safe going for that. From our perspective, this is obviously a complete death trap, but I guess you had to read that Heroic were playing the top half of the map, but not the case. Instant punish.
Are they going to force a buyback out of him? Looks like that's what they want to do.
Yep.
They have a double Siege Dragon wave coming through here. Thankfully, there is an ET already set up to try and mount this defense, but it would be catastrophic if he had to buy back right now. Let's see how far Heroic can push this one. Tier 3 gone now. We will get the quick D-ward. Now here comes the cliff. TP back in from Mobe as well. Does have his ultimate available. We'll pop it immediately. We need to be careful about Schofield repositioning them, as he does also have access to the Yule Scepter, so he can buy himself time once he goes in. Thankfully, though, Ember is not here, and I don't see one of his remnants nearby, so they're probably not going to full commit for this. They do drop a Roshan's banner, though. Going to be a nice slow poke whenever they can manage it. Yuma,
nice reaction.
Almost able to take the range drags, but nice jump in from Smiling Knight. He immediately finds himself being chained, though. As he retreats, Yuma will utilize this opportunity to go back in for the melee racks. This building should fall once he wakes up from the sleep, and there we go.
AVULUS delayed them as much as they could, but it's only going to last so long. And I genuinely agree with their decision to not buy back Sand King. I think his life is worth more than that lane of barracks when you're 48 minutes in. It's way, way more important that he can come back into a fight or perhaps find himself a refresher and make a game-winning play down the line. But nicely done from Heroic. That's another bit of progression in the game. Roche early respawn will be now. And it is actually a pretty late one again, isn't it? Yes, it is. This is a late Roche. Will be close to max respawn once more. Unfortunately here for the side of Heroic, as they are the ones with the map control. But of course neither team know this, so they have to start playing the area. And this could be quite a long standoff, potentially. This Roshan is like 2 minutes away from spawning. Or 1 minute and 40.
Remind me, was it Heroic who yesterday, was it Juma that died with the Tendrils of the Deep from the Croaker that hit him?
I think so, yeah.
Man, this map just hates Heroic. Super long respawn times when they're ahead. When they're behind, best believe it's going to be instant. But now they smoke.
That's right. If they get knocked out of this tournament, it's plain bad luck. It's always...
Blame Gaben.
Always a good way to cope.
I mean,
Fly
this is
with
a
the
South
ward,
American
gets
team,
broken
right?
out. Instant
Lane,
moonlight.
they do pop the Moonlight Shadow. No sentries on the ground from Heroic, so they're going to retreat right now. They are still carrying the gem on Analog. They have a sentry on the high ground. Arrow threads the needle. They now see Mobe. He's going to be forced to go back onto the high ground with his team. And Elder Titan will send in the Spirit to make sure that nothing's happening in the pit. Big man, he's still just chilling. Alarm clock is late today. He's going to be coming in super, super delayed for work.
I was gonna say, I'm looking at Fly, and I just realized he does not have Shard yet. I think a Shard on ET allows him to kill the Morph stupid fast, because then he can just stomp next to him and remove all his armor. Oh, Smiling Knight.
Oh, Smiling Knight get jumped on, but they do get him away. Dragon Tail's down onto Mobe instead. But Mobe was forced to pop a BKB for that one. The Lincoln Sphere, shout out to Whisper, he put that immediately onto Yuma after the Dragon Tail, so hard to follow up with more of the disables. In the meantime, they do find Desire here, and they should be able to find that kill on the Marana.
He had a gem. Yoink.
Nice.
And Roche is Heroics for the taking. What did Yuma dodge the Roar disarm with Waveform? Very nice.
Okay, just for Yuma. Cheese on the ground as well. Refresher shot they gave towards Analog. Who took the cheese, actually? It's sitting on KJ. All right, KJ has the cheese and the Roshan's banner. Okay, so he's going to be doing more of the support duty from behind. For AVULUS, they have buyback on everyone except Sand King.
Oh, he made block of cheese for Yuma. Okay, because I was thinking you should probably put the cheese on the Tiny, actually. But they had a block, so now Morph with the shield for the foreseeable future. even harder to kill, as if it wasn't bad enough already inside of AVULUS.
We saw Smiling Knight moving north through the Watcher, so they know he's in the vicinity, but now he did come back. Gonna put some pressure onto Yuma. Yuma does not care about him at all. It's like, alright, I thought you were supposed to be a grizzly bear, not a teddy bear. Do no damage. Mobe and Zebe, they're going in though. They want Analog, the easier target potentially. Do they have the damage? His BKB hasn't come out just yet. They kill him. 2 minutes in the grave, but now he's gonna buy back, return into the fray. Smiling Knight, in the meantime, almost died. Analog reaching forward on the high ground, unable to catch up to him just yet though. They do find and kill Sibe. He does not have buyback, of course. Expended all of his gold to finish the refresher. So it makes it a 1-for-1. However, with the buyback, they're still going to be able to claim the mega creeps for Heroic. What can they do without their primary team fighter? Yuma steals the Sand King form and dies immediately. He's on very high agi at the moment. Can they punish him upon the respawn? Yuma does have the BKB, swaps it back in, going forward, pops it, trying to man fight here versus Fly and the Ursa. Fly gets himself back, Ursa finds himself being nullified, Avalanche, waveform and kill. Mobe, there's no way he gets into the base without putting damage in the opposite direction. They buy back on Ursa, but what can you do? Mobe does have Blink, but doesn't have BKB. Now he doesn't have Dragon Form. Now they don't have tier 4s. AVULUS still 45 seconds, no Sand King, the numerical disadvantage. Can they fight back against it? Smiling Knight went forward. There's gonna be the Avalanche, the Hex, the kill. He is down, died back, he goes away for good. The game is called as GG is thrown in by AVULUS. Cinderin, for the first time in the last 3 days, you and I are going to a game 3.
The heroes that can really thrive in a chaotic environment where heroes maybe are a little bit out of position or you break formation a little bit too much and you're not completely tight. So we'll see. Desire might just pop off this game and make me look like a fool and make Shaker look like the best hero of the game. But it's risky.
Well, Desire does have a penchant for picking these heroes that seem off kilter in the game and then going on to do incredible things within them. So we'll see if it works. Didn't work out on the Morana pick previously. Second one of the tournament. We'll see if the Earthshaker has better results. He will break the smoke of both KJ and Yuma. Feels good. Not really too much is going to happen. I expect we're going to go off to a nice standard start of the game. And this always happens in these super high pressure environments, right? Once you get to game 3, the skittishness kicks in. People are, at the very least, they start playing initially not to lose rather than to win. And then you start winning later on in the game.
Yeah, that's definitely been a historical constant in Dota, is that the highest stake games on average have lower risk plays. But that is also why some of the championship teams and some of the greatest teams of all time to win, TIs and etc., play with no fear. It gives them an inherent advantage in situations where elimination's on the line, where you can't even tell that it is, you know, a game for a title or a game for a podium finish, and it's like it might just as well be group stage round 1. We'll see who of the players here. Some players just are like that inherently, and they don't even need to learn it. For other players, it takes years to really fully shake stage fright and the stakes. Now, for this game, you're playing for elimination, right? You're playing not to get knocked out, but you're not playing for high placement. So in some ways, I don't know what's more scary. The prospect of getting dead last, or playing a really high stakes game where you're like, man, if I win this game, it's like life-changing, you know? Because then you can also be like, well, you already made it far, right? If you're in that position.
I will say, obviously not in Dota. I never got good enough to compete on a big stage, but in other games where I was competitive, fighting games, FIFA and stuff, I would do, these kind of games I really wouldn't care about, like last place, whatever. Where I found myself being extremely nervy, bro. Podium finishes. I've never gotten past third in a tournament for that exact reason. I always crumble in the podium. I don't know why. It's tough.
I would say the same, that I think the nerves and the nerves are higher whether you're playing an upper bracket game for top 6 or top 3 versus an elimination game for the last game right here. It's definitely, I don't think there's going to be too many nerfs, I guess is what I'm saying here. But I know, like you pointed out, it is for elimination, so some players will be hesitant. But given the circumstances and how these teams are, I think they're also, you know, they're seeing this tournament for what it is right now. It's just not been great for either team. So they're just gonna, you know, try to play their best and not be too phased by the situation. All right. We've had a lot of developments during that extremely elaborate and interesting conversation about pressure. There are some big waves being pulled up top. Heroic have a double wave set up by Schofield and Whisper to try to get experience. Smiling Knight trying to cut through it. Will be very successful actually in connecting these waves. And yeah, the Medusa plus Ringmaster lane is actually just getting first blood here, I believe. Potentially. No blood grenade.
Oh
right,
my goodness.
Did not have a grenade.
SVG's a dodge remains true. It's a waste of your time to keep chasing Schofield. For whatever reason now we're laning in the river, you know. This is the new patch actually. There's no more lanes anymore. Everything is just the river, the whole map.
Well, in enough time, everything will eventually be water. That's true. Except in real life where there will be no water left. Can't wait for that. It's gonna be great.
How's
good
mid
lanes
going?
so far though for
Mobe-
AVULUS. All three of them. They're looking quite hot, especially mid. Mobe is putting on a clinic against Analog. So in many ways, this is one of Mobe's absolute best heroes, the Tiny. No stranger to exploiting favorable matchups. And probably just happy to have one, because a lot of the time when you're playing Tiny mid, you're not necessarily playing a hero you can truly beat. But Tango is one of the matchups that you can win by a decent margin.
Out CSing him, out denying him, doing a good job. Although I do think one of the better jobs is down bottom, Shebe is making sure that he's not going to get zoned out. In the last game, when he was playing the Sand King, they did lose a small vision war that led to some shenanigans on his Sand King. But this time around on his Morphling, like you said, he will be able to just trade, getting decent CS, absolutely not going to get zoned out, so that gives some freedom for Desire to go and make these stacks. Already a double Ancient camp, double Hard camp. There's going to be some very juicy farm for the Medusa or Tidehunter later.
Yeah, it's so easy to play this lane as Tide when you're level 3. You get 2 points in Kraken, and you just don't take damage. It's literally just shrugging it all off. Even has the boots in case they do want to make an aggressive move. He still has the movement speed, and yeah, that was part of the pick. They know for a fact that Zibe will have a good start, so this way they can, as you said, free up Desire to do whatever he wants. And let's see what that's going to be. Well, first blood will go the way of Fly, killing Schofield. Desire actually TP'd in for this.
From Desire. So they killed Fly's career, right? And then he had the Windlace coming in. Perhaps they thought, okay, without that additional movement speed, he won't be able to catch up to Schofield. But on the bright side, it is tied, like you mentioned, for all of these good reasons. It doesn't really matter where Desire is playing right now. Shebe is pretty much okay all by his lonesome.
Yeah, there's nothing stopping him. He's just gonna free farm. He's even feeling confident enough he can like stack up waves. He can consider bringing them into the jungle. We'll do just that. Maybe farm it together with this double stack. This is actually a ton of experience. The jungles might interact with some of it. Unfortunately for him, the wolves are here actually cutting down his attack damage, which does affect Kraken Shell. We'll get rid of them first. And now KJ. Don't you just love Dota sometimes? This is how they're interacting. KJ trying to stop Zibe from jungling by denying creeps. Because he can't do anything else. Beautiful. God, I love playing Tide sometimes in situations like this. It's just so funny. Like, I don't care that the game exists around me. I'm just eating.
Look at him chilling. Laning phase for who, gang? I don't have to worry about no lanes. This is a straightforward game for me. I'm even gonna drag it back in front of the tower. The tower hits me a couple of times there, who cares? It's all fine for Shebe. Now level 5 on the Tidehunter, absolutely no danger of dying. And of course, his dutiful support, creating some farm opportunities. And mid lane, they were thinking about going in with the Rolling Thunder, with the Cold Feet, but they don't. Instead, we do find a young Fissure blocking in KJ's retreat. There will be a Blood Grenade, Tame the Beast, and he ticks out. Fly now on his second kill of the game. The support Ringmaster putting in some work.
Yeah, this is easily a big part of why Shaker was a possible pick this game, is that he gets to do stuff like this. Just move around and find that move mid. Alright, they're actually going to try on Zibe. They're bringing Analog. They've had enough of this shit. Let's see if they can kill him.
Alright.
Oh, they missed the swap.
Got Ravage this time around as well. Rolling Thunder comes through. He does have an amplified damage rune, but it bounces him just below the low ground. Okay, if he bounces low ground, he survives 100%, but that exact bounce means that he does end up dead. Analog, shout out to him with the amplified damage and the rotation. They put an end to the nonsense of the Tidehunter.
Yeah, I wonder what he's going to do in 15 seconds when he spawns on Tide. Do you think he's going to TP bottom and do it all over again? I think so. And I think that's what he should do. Just pretend it didn't happen. Do your thing again. And you could even tell from Zibe's play in the bot lane that he was starting to try to interact with the Morph as well. He wasn't only looking to get his own, he was going to anchor smash the Morph to try to make him miss CS. Because he was feeling that comfortable. But he was prioritizing that over playing it completely safe and farming some extra jungle. But yeah, here we go again. He's back to bot. Medusa, complete free farm. There's nothing going to stop Medusa either. Morphling, of course, for Heroic. Just seems to be their best pick. He's having a good start once again on you.
Analog and KJ able to steal away some of the stacks that Desire has been making. So some hard work will be flushed down. Pangolier definitely needed that because he was falling quite far behind this Tiny. That'll put him back in some decent contention. They even bring Whisper towards middle, so they want to try and put some aggression into this lane. But I don't know, can they actually get this tower? Nope. Whisper says, nah, I don't think we can do this, guys. If there was a Siege Wagon wave, maybe, but we don't have a Tiny kill. We have no vision on their supports. We don't have a Siege Wagon, there's no point. Bottom instead, though, they're going back in onto Shebe. 3 heroes in once more. Ravage is going to be committed by him this time around. Will he escape? I'm not sure. Analog doesn't have access to an amplified damage rune. The fissure will block the access for the Morph and the Ancient Apparition, but it should still lead to the death of Shebe. If they can find one more bounce, shield crash, still gets it.
All right. Maybe that's the limit. Maybe going that deep is a bit too crazy with the heroes missing, and clearly with Analog showing interest in going and contesting the Tide a lot. Pango, one of the best heroes to do this with early on. That's the one thing that is stopping Zibe from being completely free in this game. Analog recognizes it twice over now and finds the first 2 kills of the game for Heroic. Both of them are on the Tide, which does mean everyone else on AVULUS is having a pretty good time. Especially, this is a game where I think Fly could potentially shine. He got the 2 early kills on the Ringmaster and he's getting a fast level 6. He has some decent setups for Wheel of Wonder. He has got the Avalanche into it. He's got obviously his own Tame the Beast as always, but there's also 2 other AoE stuns in the Ravage and the Fissure. Whisper, level 8, as a matter of fact. Also not looking too shabby. Ironically, the Tide is the lowest net worth core now. That's kind of funny, but that's how it shaped up. But
he did die twice, right? So
yeah, they focused on.
Not too surprising. And at this point, he has grown from his exploits. This is what life is about. You have some experiences, even if they're adverse, you gain some positive lessons from them. His lesson was, let's finish the Ancients, hopefully get to level 10 before we overextend that far forward again. So he's still going to be chilling for a while. They gave Desire the lane for a little bit, so he's encroaching on level 6 on the Earthshaker. And all he needs now is a Blink Dagger to start really feeling impactful in the game.
Yeah, with the criticism that we've given position 4 Tiny, Shaker falls into the same category, with the exception that he obviously has a super long-range, reliable spell in the Fissure, but he has less burst potential on his own until he gets the Blink compared to, let's say, level 5 Tiny, just has more output. But the Shaker, a lot of the time, will have an easier time farming the Blink. Aftershock and the low mana cost of enchant.
Look. Wheel of Wonder, first one used. I'm surprised they didn't go on to Analog. I thought they saw him with both Shield Crash and Swashbuckle forward. He had neither spell available. I suppose he still had Rolling Thunder, so they felt there was no point continuing that aggression, but still, first reveal on Flyer with the Wheel of Wonder. They get the easy kill. Now the objective will be trying to just get back mid, finish off this Blink Dagger. Wait, is he gonna finish the Blink? Okay, it is gonna be Blink first, never mind.
I
thought he queued Echo Saber first, but he added a Blink.
The jungle did. King Jungle.
Oh, wait, what?
Yeah, he got denied by neutral.
No.
The King of the Jungle will return to his own, and they will eat him. Zibe, purged up. This is an early Diffusal Blade here from Analog.
Yes, indeed. They have Rolling Thunder, but Morphling still has to make his way over here, and there is a Ravage available. Zibe getting bounced around. Morphling is here right now. Stole the Tidehunter form, put in the Gush, the Anchor Smash. And a couple right clicks. This should lead to the death on the Tide. Nobody coming in time to protect him. Oh, actually, Mobe changed his mind. He's going to go Echo Saber first instead of Blink. So it's going to be a while before he's able to make counter moves on his Tiny.
I'm not the biggest fan of this game. I understand that a lot of games on Tiny Mid, it's actually quite valuable to get the Echo Saber for the ramp up and the farm, but considering your 4 is a Tide, your 4 is a Shaker and your 3 is a Tide, I think you have to make a lot of the moves on the map for something to happen. So if you're not going Blink first, you're effectively saying, we don't need to fight a lot, we can just farm. And if that's true, then everything will obviously be okay, but potentially you could be a little bit more in control of the game with an early Blink on Tiny and, you know, trying to punish these moves that Heroic are making. You can threaten the Morph to not play on max Agi all over the map and lower some of his efficiency in turn. But they're just focusing on themselves. Another very slow early game between these two teams. Every game has had so few kills minute 15. The lanes generally go even, everybody farms. The rotations sometimes give a singular kill, but nothing major. That's when the Tormentor starts coming into play.
I told you, we have passed an armistice treaty. We perhaps were not party to the signing, but every single team that we've seen today, even yesterday, certainly was involved. They might actually try to make an engagement onto Whisper. Vision will block him off. Wheel of Wonder gets thrown out. He does barely get beyond the taunt, drops the ultimate, and he's going to be able to get out. He has the Bloodsport, so they have zero vision and no Ags on the Ringmaster. At the same time, they do dump Shebe on the other side of the map, and they find a quick kill onto him.
Yeah,
so Schofield and the gang. Nicely done.
Yeah, the two supports can kill the Tide in this game. They have the perfect support combination. The Vortex amplifies all of Clock's magic damage. You have the Ice Blast to prevent Tide from regenerating from using Anchor Smash with the Lifesteal. So they do kill him. That gives Heroic 4 total kills on Tide. All of them. Puts him in a decent spot here. 14-minute Wisdoms. Oh, Heroic getting both Wisdoms this time. That is, I would say, a rare sight in this tournament. Might be the first time that they get both Wisdoms at 14 minutes. That bodes well. Yuma now level 12. Minute 14 on his Morph. He took the Wisdom as well, just for the half of that experience. In spite of being 50 CS behind the Medusa, they're neck and net worth. With all the kills and assists Yuma has.
Not too far away from having his Manta style available either. So Heroic clearly under no pressure to continue expanding the pace of this game. They're going to wait for AVULUS, who are waiting for their own Blink Daggers. Still quite far for Desire, still quite far for this Tiny. Did he change his mind again? Because he actually could have finished the full Echo Saber, but he's now just hoarding gold for the Blink Dagger. So looks like the communication was had to the Tiny that, hey man, I think we need some initiation. Let's get that going for ourselves.
This is worse than going either build. In my opinion, it's getting a casual Ogre Axe. It's got to be some really bad value coming out here from Mobe. But indecision sometimes leads to some trouble. Now the dagger will be completed here. So, see how he puts it to use. He'll get his level 12 as well. Looking to, hopefully for AVULUS, start taking some sort of initiative in this game, because I feel like their 4 heroes can actually do a lot while Medusa farms. The rest of their lineup is
Heroic is going first though, because they find Desire. They know that they want to be doing stuff now. They have a Blink on Whisper. Analog has a decent set of items and some good gold, so why not put some aggression on the map? They find another kill. The opening is there for the Tormi, and everybody is at enough HP that I think they can take this without losing the Ancient Apparition. Let's see. Nope, I was wrong. Oh, that's so funny. Every time. Mid lane, Analog going in with the Rolling Thunder, catching out Mobe, who does have a Blink Dagger, but of course being disabled. Does have to be careful. There is a Tide Hunter behind him. There's going to be a Blink forward with Mobe. Ravage catching on the 3 through the Bloodsport arena. Whisper needs to get the hell out of here. Desire drop the Echo Slam onto Schofield, but Sko is still alive. Hookshots away onto a creep wave. He will remain living. Whisper drop behind a spear onto Mobe to prevent his chase. And somehow, no one dies there? Okay.
Yeah, that was super good outcome for Heroic. That's the Blink Dagger reveal and Ravage and Echo, and AVULUS got 0 kills. And it's a little bit of remnants from game 2. I don't want to harp on it too too much, but I feel like the spell casting there could use a little bit of work. I think the Ravage came out slightly too early during the Avalanche, so they're missing some efficiency there. And because of that, Desire has to fissure and can't get in range to echo them in time either. But the good news for AVULUS is Desire is only 500 from him. When he gets that, a situation like that one is a triple. Not too far off.
Also, we do have to remember that the carry that they have, unlike in the previous game where they were dealing with an Ursa under major pressure to try and make things happen, Smiling Knight's playing Medusa. He's chilling, but he might be dead here because they've taken a 3-hero twin-gate rotation from Heroic, and here they come. They will not be scouted by this Observer Ward. Very nice preemptive smoke. Can they find the vision? Here goes Schofield with the jetpack. He bought the shot. He wants an angle for the hook shot. Who's he gonna find? Well, they'll settle for a kill onto Fly. Even if they get it at all, he actually managed to get out for now. Fissure thrown back onto Schofield. Schofield's the one that's falling low, and help with the Will of Wonder. They find the kill. Smiling Knight makes it a double. Throwing in the damage thanks to the Mystic Snake, the Wheel of Wonder, the Fissure. All of these spells play in tandem to bring down both supports of Heroic.
It was hard for me to see the exact vision in that moment that Schofield had, but I do think he also saw the Shaker and the Medusa, and then he chose to jump the Ringmaster, who's the one guy that could escape, because he had a whoopee cushion. And I'm assuming Schofield didn't check for that, but that's Ringmaster in a nutshell. Sometimes he just has some bullshit, and then you just gotta move on with your life, you know? Alright, well, I guess that time he had the... Yeah, you can tell I love the souvenirs, right? Yeah, that was great for Fly. Having that exact souvenir there really changed the complexion of that fight. But at the same time, if Clockwork did have the vision, I think he just jumped Shaker there instead of the Ringmaster. But perhaps his reasoning was Shaker doesn't have ulti anyway, so Ringmaster's the higher priority target. And without the whoopee cushion, you probably just kill him there and maybe build a fight around it.
Just ain't nothing but a flat thing, baby. Bottom. Going on to Shipping, slow him down with the Diffusal. The Inhibit will be there. The Rolling Thunder connects. Ice Blast doesn't actually hit, so he's able to throw out the Ravage, and he's still alive. Mobe now with the Avalanche under 3. Tossed down, but the damage is not there just yet. But now with Smiling Knight making an appearance, Heroic realized that this fight is over. Okay, almost got the kill onto Shibe. If they hit the Ice Blast, perhaps they do find it, but a little bit too south for KJ. Does enable the escape from Shibe.
It's more slightly unclean coordination here. An execution of the spell casting leaves a little bit to be desired here, and it's kind of strange because I feel like when Heroic play their best, which we have obviously seen in Wallachia in particular, but Schofield's gonna get caught. Well, that's a classic. Just making space for the team. I feel like their spellcasting in general is one of their absolute strongest suits, but in this game there's been a couple of misses from both teams, and overall in this tournament, I guess that's just what happens when you're having an event where things aren't exactly going the absolute best for you. That's why you're finding yourself in this position. This is one of those factors, is that when you're firing on all cylinders, those spell combos just hit. You know, the Clockwork doesn't jump the Ringmaster there, and you miss the AA ult because you didn't cog, or you got caught off guard by the whoopee cushion. When you go for the Tidebound bottom, you're going to land that AA ult every time.
Speaking of, Mobe, he wandered straight into a sentry ward next to the tier 2 tower. He gets eviscerated. Okay, they do manage to get the Ancient Apparition kill, but definitely not worth it. And they've also caught up to Smiling Knight. Thankfully, there is access to the Stone Gaze. Desire also laid out the Fissure, and that Fissure though gets stolen as Yuma took away his form, trying to catch up to Fly. The Rocket Flare will slow him down for now. There will be that 4-star forward, however, a spear back will ensure that this man is dead. I will say, as much as I hate escape art, it's very satisfying killing a hero that's inside the box.
And Pango might just be the single best hero in all of Dota at doing that, because all of his AoE spells are physical damage. So the magic damage, magic resistance of the box doesn't work. You can see there, just the Shield Crash, blasting Fly out of the box. Surprise! It was Ringmaster.
Surprise! By the way, speaking of the box, do you know Roddy Rich by any chance?
No.
That's unfortunate. Let me know in chat if you know Roddy Rich. Yeah, he has a song called The Box, which was like major a couple of years ago. Top lane, they're going on to Whisper. He does not have a box for himself. He's probably just going to die, but maybe they turn this around. Ice Blast did connect, but the escape art is there for Mobe. That being said, he also got connected into with the cold feet. He's on the high ground, but eventually gets brought down by Schofield. Burns him away with the young battery assault. Desire turning his attention around towards the rest of Radiant side. Drops a fissure, just wants to get back. They know there's no hook shot. They know that the jetpack has already been utilized. They know there's no rolling thunder, so it's safe to just walk away.
Unfortunately there, AVULUS, Fly unable to connect the Wheel of Wonder. He was desperately trying to save the Tiny, and then the Echo Slam hits 2 heroes, but there's absolutely 0 follow-up available. Well, AVULUS is again just not really, they're not quite hitting it the way they're hoping to, but it's just a matter of time. Like, their lineup is built in such a way that eventually you're going to find an opening with Tiny getting some have a toss. If the enemy team tries to respond, that's when you can hit the Fat Ravage or a good Echo or whatever. And you will always have this overall strategy of playing around the Medusa. And the good news for AVULUS is Smiling Knight's having completely free game. 350 CS minute 23. This is S tier numbers, just flat out elite level farming. And if he keeps this up, he will continue distancing himself from the Morphling, making use of the Manta to further amplify his own farm. He's close to completing a Scotty with his Butter as well as Manta. Perhaps AVULUS, the whole idea here is just keep distracting around the map, get Smiling Knight to 3 or 4 items, take Roshan, maybe just try to end the game even. It's pretty difficult for Heroic to kill the Dusa this game. They only have the Diffusal and Pango, there's nothing else that's really good.
You were pondering towards the end of the draft that we do see an Ancient Apparition getting gone on and killed. You're pondering which do you prefer more, how good the Medusa pick was for their team or how good the Pango pick was for Heroic. I think at this stage of the game, I would much rather be Medusa team. Like, Smiling Knight is just cruising at the moment. I mean, they're going to lose their tier 1 right now, but you still have a tier 1 24 minutes in with the Medusa draft. All right, gang, sign me up. And they might not even get the tier 1 because they're smoking AVULUS. They're coming to defend this.
And they might find a jump here. Oh, it's Yuma breaking it. They're not going to go in. Okay.
Whisper even steals the amplified damage rune. Will get the spear back. Wheel of Wonder right behind him. He's actually going to lose quite a bit of HP here. That being said, can they actually do enough to kill him? A lot of damage from Smiling Knight will be there, and the Medusa does find the engagement. Fly, of course, going to be getting the credit for a kill. Ain't nothing but a flat thing, baby.
I do agree.
And they keep the tower alive.
The Medusa game is definitely completely uncontested right now, but like given the stage of the draft that each pick was made, it's like, you know, the Medusa pick might have felt incredible, but I still think Heroic did a good job of potentially finding the best possible solution in that spot. But even with that, the Medusa is still great. So yeah, I'm kind of with you. The Medusa pick might have overall been the absolute strongest in this draft. Smiling Knight now approaching the 400 CS mark minute 25. Rivaling what I saw from, I believe it was in Raleigh, I saw Radon have about 500 minute 30. So if Smiling Knight gets around 20 CS per minute the coming minutes, he will tie with that. Which is a very impressive scoreline to say the least.
Trivia question, who has in this tournament the highest CS in a single game?
I'm not sure what the longest games of the tournament were.
Longest game, I'll tell you in a second. Longest game was 1 hour, 5 minutes.
Alright, it was the carry of one of the 2 teams in that game.
No, you actually witnessed it. The most CS in a single game at this tournament was 754 coming out of the gyrocopter of Smiling Knight.
Oh, really? It just happened?
Yeah.
Oh, what do you know? Awkward.
But the fight just happened as well. Schofield goes in, but they also find the initiation onto Fly. They need to kill this Ringmaster, and they've got it. He's out of the fight. Analog chasing forward with the Rolling Thunder. On the back edge, there is a Ravage, starting up multiple heroes, but now Whisper going into the arena. He wants to get away from this Medusa. Spears her towards a wall as the Morphling tries to put in the right-click damage, but realizes it's just not enough. On the other side of the fight, Schofield gets caught into by the Tiny and Shibe. So 2 heroes will be removed from the fight. 2 for 1. You didn't get the big kills, lost both supports, you only got 1 in exchange. Morphling got to be involved in that affray. You're definitely very happy as Heroic, as you also get back to farming your triangle.
It looked like Tiny found a potential opening onto Pango and Morph, but there was no follow-through. Spear not being cast.
And well, didn't get cast, so there's an avalanche in the opposite direction. Ice Blast does get thrown forward. Whisper falling very low. Bulwark will try to protect him from Smiling Knight. Yuma wants none of that smoke. He backs off immediately. And by some miracle, nobody dies.
Yeah, so back to the team fight from before. Tiny gets a setup. There's no real follow-through, so they don't kill on that. They get a one-man Ravage onto the Mars, and they never got to use Echo. So all of those things combined, I think AVULUS losing that fight slightly is actually a great result for them. Given that Heroic got the initiation and got the quick kill on Ringmaster, you don't really bleed out much more after that than just the Shaker. It's honestly quite good for them. And you can tell from Heroic's perspective, they just ignore Smiling Knight. They pretend he doesn't exist, because they can't go on this guy. Their lineup is not geared to kill him yet, especially if the Pango is controlled. It's just a hopeless fight for the Morphling to try to take. But what isn't hopeless is to try to fight again immediately while Raven is down. Fly again, should be on the receiving end.
Nice on the Ringmaster. Escape out, keep him alive for now, but it's no longer available for the rest of the team. The Rolling Thunder is not that great from the Pango, but he does come in on the backside. The backstab kills or fly. Towards the western side, Desire doing his best to run away from the Freys, and Ice Blast lands onto Mobay, forcing a BKB out of the Tiny. Smiling Knight now finding himself in the midst of all these Radiant heroes, but like you said, they pretend he doesn't exist. What is that there? Is that John Cena in the middle of the fray? I have no idea. We're not gonna fight him.
They're gonna go for the Rosh instead, though. Minus armor of Pango plus Morph. This is very quick and very easy. AVULUS maybe playing around with the idea of contesting here. They have Echo still, and they know this is happening, but it's already too late. Rocket's actually scouting out Desire. He's dead.
Yeah.
Tried to get a flank.
He's gonna go down.
Got spotted.
They actually might go for more. They have a hookshot available from Schofield. Shibe is being scouted, but the rest of the team went towards the west. They're not gonna catch him. But they have an Aegis given towards Yuma. Butterfly, Vlad's, Nemesis Curse, some Manta. Not an easy customer. Despite the fact that I'm very happy being Medusa, I can't help but feel that it's one of these games where Medusa's gonna have a very good time if her team can lock down these targets so she can hit them. But if that lockdown is not there, it is so hard to keep constant beads on these Morphlings, these Pangos throughout the course of the fight as a Medusa.
Yeah, you need to bring things together, right? Medusa needs to be able to hit a target that's stunned for an extended period of time, and she's going to be looking at a high damage output item soon. When she's getting this MKB and then eventually probably a crit, that's when people are going to start dying in the stuns without necessarily landing particularly powerful spell combos for AVULUS. I'll end up trading the classic Tormentor for Rosh, and they will get one of the best shards in all of Dota, the Earthshaker Aghanim Shard upgrade for Fissure. Now, this used to be even better a long time ago, but just having that guaranteed Aftershock combo is very, very good. Later in the game, especially if you get Refresher or if you get an Octarine Core and you just keep pumping out your spells more and more in fights, extremely disruptive. Here comes the MKB for Smiling Knight. On the other side of the coin, MKB on the way for Yuma as well pretty soon. He's missing about 1,000 gold for that. Pango closing in on Basher, which is very big. That hero benefits greatly from being able to stick onto targets, especially just controlling up the Medusa that bit further, being able to lock down the Tide and keep him in place. Be valuable for sure. And Schofield will finish a Halberd, so first support counter here to the Medusa, coming out from Clock.
Clock has Halberd, they got the Aghanim Scepter on Shibe. They actually a roll. Oh my goodness, what? Analog with the hard reads. Is he a Street Fighter player or something? My goodness. Shibe, though, able to blink himself away. Not gonna fall prey to these Akuma plays, but man, that was nice read coming in from the Pangolier. Unfortunately, just not enough follow-up from the rest of the team to keep him in position. Still, though, they are playing with this Aegis. They'll be happy.
It's hard to chain there. Very awkward area. Yuma. Break the smoke.
Not the most relatable target. He actually waveform forward, trying to kill or fly. Fly does get the escape out, but dies to the rocket flare on the backline. Yuma, though, taking damage from the Eye of Skadi. Smiling Knight doing what he can. Desire blocks off the retreat as well. So they maybe kill the Morphling. He waveforms onto the high ground though. At the same time, Schofield puts in the hook shot on the far side of the fissure to ensure that they can kill off this Earthshaker. Pango though did go down on the eastern part of the fight.
Nice
They need to get out of here. Schofield nicely cancelled. Make sure he can't TP out with the Tame the Beast. However, he does still have the jetpack as well as access to these cogs. Trying to get out. Zibe chases him, so does Mobe. They find the additional kill. Schofield ends up going down. It's a 2-for-1 affair. And AVULUS fighting back somewhat. Even into the ages, they demonstrate they have some skirmish potential without having to drop their massive ultimates. All of them, with the exception of Will or Wonder, are still online.
That was Pango's first death of the game, by the way. They finally shut down Analog's 6-0 and 6 scoreline, and the kill bounty goes the way of Mobe. So he's getting a lot of influx of gold here. It's starting to build in toward big damage, and we talked about last game how a lot of the time you don't necessarily see mid-tinies truly get to that point where they start being a real massive carry-to-carry or core-to-core kill threat later in the game, unlike the position 1 tiny, but Mobe's getting there. Now he's almost got his Revenant's Roach completed. With Blink, Echo, and BKB, he can guarantee himself to just enter the fight and obliterate a target of his choice. Even Morphling is actually not safe here. If his evasion doesn't proc on the Echo Saber's hits into full combo, he could kill him 100-0. He'll definitely kill this guy without blinking an eye. Analog though. Trade. Fly with
the Rolling Thunder. Goes actually right back in towards Mobe. Mobe does have access to the BKB, probably gonna have to pop it. Wheel of Wonder going in the opposite direction for Analog and this Morphling. Ravage also connects onto both of them. Desire gives them the additional stun. All they need is the damage, and Smiling Knight will provide. It's gonna be another kill onto the Pangolier. The arena was dropped down by Whisper, but only to facilitate a retreat. The question is, can they successfully do so? Fissure from Desire, but the heroes are a bit too far away. There will be no further connection. They'll just happily take that kill.
Let's see if they can get anything more out of it. They do have a wave bottom, so try to continue this push. You mentioned the Aghanim Scepter from Zibe. It's very, very good this game. It makes a ton of sense. You're playing with hard-hitting cores in the Tiny and the Medusa, so minus armor is really valuable. You can hit multiple targets. It's going to help Medusa anchor the fight that much better around herself when heroes get slowed all around the place. And it also plays into the whole artillery thing that AVULUS has got going on quite nicely. Ringmaster with long range, Fissure long range. Now you have the long range Gush. Poking and prodding is, I mean, imagine pushing into this Dire line. It's going to be miserable. It's going to be so much garbage the rest of the game coming out. And Zibe with this Ags feels confident going for a Hex, and then you would imagine Refresher is going to be his third major item afterwards, as he has the mana pool for it.
Trying to make sure that he's angling properly. We have Silver Edge for Morphling, Silver Edge about to emerge for the Medusa as well. Both carries have it, but the BKB from Mars, I think, is probably the bigger pickup that could open up the game a little bit from Heroic. We'll see what they go for next. They was just farming the jungle, finishing off these camps. The fights haven't been decided. Also, have you ever thought about, from an empathetic point of view, what it must be like to be a creep in this game? Such a miserable experience. You just exist to die no matter what.
No, I've never really thought about that. Back to you, Snare.
Go read the essay, bro. Thomas Nagel's essay, the What It's Like to Be a Bat. Pretty good essay.
What It's Like to Be a Bat.
Yes. One of the fundamental essays in the hard problem of consciousness and just general subjectivism since the 70s.
Was that like a side note that was stuffed into your math book, or?
No, completely different point.
Sorry,
although the math book does have a chapter from Descartes.
Schofield,
it's a similar film.
Gonna get
Schofield middle.
And
is he dead? Yeah, he's dead. There you go. Gorgon's grasp makes sure that he's held in place. He did try for the hook shot out, but there's absolutely no way. Too much damage output from this Deucer. And they still feel very strong on AVULUS. It's a 7k gold lead. There's no way you defend this tier 2 without this clockwork. It's not just the hook shot, but the vision he can provide within the trees. Probably just have to let this one go.
Yeah. Nice and easy pick for the Dusa. Takes down the tier 2 tower, and now you're starting to prepare for inevitable Roshan. Although, they will find a little freebie on the way in jungle.
Nice.
Heroic seem to be struggling to find any moment of opportunity now, and I think they're running into this awkward late-game potential situation where so much of their damage is on Morphling, and there's a bit on the Pango. Mars does no damage. Completely negligible. Clockwork's damage at this point is honestly also quite negligible. Then you have an Ice Blast that doesn't work against one of the enemy heroes, so she's going to be a tough target. The other ones are quite beefy and hard to break down. It's tough times out there for Heroic. If they don't manage to take an initiation around Yuma, just don't really see it going particularly well. But instead for AVULUS, you have these assassination squads, like Tiny +1 will find a kill. Even the Tidebound.
You're about to have an example of that. The drain bottom. You got Whisper. He does have a BKB, but he is dead. Okay. Very brave about this. Wow. The Medusa's not here. She's in the river. So they didn't have the physical damage. Now they may be looking to turn this around. Schofield tries the hook shot forward onto Sebe, but he gets out the Ravage first, under 3. Mobe jumps in as well with the Echo Slam. Unfortunately, as I said, there's no Medusa, so they don't have the damage to take this fight. AVULUS caught lacking on the lower side of the map and get punished heavily by Heroic.
This map position right now, 38 minutes in, you've got top and mid nicely pushed out, and still you end up being only 3 heroes bottom taking this fight. That's just a gift here for Heroic that they're going to gladly capitalize on. And I mean, credit where credit's due. I can't believe he didn't BKB on the first go on Whisper. And guess what? Then he didn't have it for the second go, so he never used it. So now it's still a 9-seconder, which is good for him. Tango's also
just getting casually brought down by Analog. Actually, I like this kind of move because Analog is getting these kills while Clockwork is also showing on the wave. It's less obvious that Morphling is soloing right now. You probably know anyway as AVULUS, but you know, try to cover the enemy information as much as you can. Yuma picks up the Aegis, gets his team the Roshan's banner. And
that's actually such an important thing to have happen bottom. As we just established, Roche was about to spawn, but we didn't know if it was going to be fast or slow. Fortunately for Heroic, the timing is just right that they get that too. And all of this, if AVULUS were playing a little bit tighter, could have been avoided by playing around their Medusa in this later portion of the game. Oh, Desire. Yuma's trying, he's also got the... Yep, they're going to eventually find him here. Oh, who Fisher's faster? Is this a Western? Who pulls out the totem quicker? Wait, never mind, that was a different video. Desire. Is he getting out of this?
No, he's not. Dude, there's no way. Silver Age, Adapter Strike, Morphling, there's no way. There's just no way. There's no way. To be fair, Morphling did burn an obscene amount of mana getting that catch though. So shout out to Schofield for making sure that the slows were there. But with the Arcane Boots, we'll be able to replenish that mana pool, maintain control of this Aegis, and now we can apply pressure towards this bottom tier 2 tower. Remove the last outer tower from AVULUS from the game.
Yep. The creeps are coming. And the tower is gone. Now, Yuma still has the Aegis for 3.5 minutes, so let's see what the plan here is from Heroic. They have all spells except Hookshot and the Morph, but they're ready in 5 seconds, so for all intents and purposes, they're fully geared up and ready to go here. Looking to maybe find a pick off on the map. Zibe currently showing on a Radiant Ward. This would be a very nice find to open up the base with, but seems like he cannot get over there. Maybe no smoke, maybe they feel like it's going to be too obvious.
Schofield is still going. They will blink away. Just happened. Oh, Rocket Flare connected. They see him. They know where he's at. He's trying to TP out right now. Hookshot, make sure that he's going nowhere. And guess who's on the way? It's old Yuma. What's up, gang? I haven't seen you since the laning phase, brother Shibe. Let me just say hello right quick. And now I say goodbye. Back to the fountain with you.
He was like one hit away from killing himself on the Tormentor, and he was not even close to killing it, by the way. So that was just a little bit crazy, but he stopped himself. Showed some good restraint. The later game Tormentors are honestly just bait a lot of the time. It's just not worth it. Costs so many resources to get so little reward later. It's incredibly good the first and the second one. After that, a lot of the time it's not really it. Analog does get off the roll up. We'll get out.
Should be fine. He's actually going aggressively towards Mobe here. Analog does not want to play with fear in this moment. He knows that Yuma's there to supply him with backup. They're going in onto the Tiny. There's going to be the Arena with the spear. Waveform forward. They've already brought down Desire. Mobe connects into as well. A double kill for Yuma. Smiling Knight has already triggered the Stone Gaze in, but they didn't go onto him. I think they didn't have the vision. He went into the Silver Edge. There's no gem available, unfortunately, on the Pango. But they'll allow him to escape because they have greater business to achieve. Roshan's banner dropped in the mid lane. They want to try and claim their first lane of racks here before the Tide Hunter can respawn.
They will. This is going to be at least one lane. Keep in mind, there's still an Aegis. There's no Stone Gaze now. And just Yule him up, try to waste his time here. Schofield with a bit of a mana burn and a knockback. Mission accomplished for Heroic. That's the first lane of the game. AVULUS still would struggle to... I don't know, I feel like this game is just changing every 2 minutes. AVULUS had a nice lead, then they take a 3v5 fight that they lose, and then Heroic get Roche, they now push through, they find a couple of kills, now they take racks. Let's see if they can continue the consistent wins that they've had in the last 5 minutes. Heroic, after the mid-game, definitely did not go their way whatsoever. They have stabilized now. There's some big things coming their way. Hex is now available for Zibe in a moment once his courier arrives. Unless it gets killed on the way. Ooh, that was close. Analog almost could have intercepted it there. Zibe will receive his big item.
Nice. So this is one of those items that can certainly change things. You were mentioning things are changing moment by moment. And having a Hex available can make a huge difference, especially on a hero like a Morphling. We'll see if they can catch him. They're smoked up right now with 3 on AVULUS. Yet again, a constant thing that has plagued them since game 2, a lack of positive vision on the map. Even though they are smoked up, it's so hard to know exactly where to go. On the side of Heroic, they don't seem to have such problems. But Illusion's pushing bottom, they control the triangle, and they're being scanned, but they're just waiting. Waiting and waiting and waiting. They know that AVULUS are in that position where they feel like they have to make a big play on the map.
Well, with Aegis expiring, this would be a good moment to hit for AVULUS if they could find the angle, but Smiling Knight will get in. They get the Hex on the Mars.
They cancel the blink on the Tiny. The Ravage did come out way forward. They blow up the Ringmaster. Immediate buyback from AVULUS. Shibe, in the midst of all these heroes, will find himself getting right-clicked down by the Morphling. And since Mobe was controlled from the start, finally they come back in to finish him off. The Spear of Mars pushes the Medusa towards the corner. Long-range escape back will try to keep her alive. She's doing her utmost. There's an arena right around her. She does not have access to the Stone Gaze. She does not have access to any allies. And now she has no access to a life. Triple kill for Yuma. It's not even over because Analog is in the base, bringing down Fly and forcing a dieback on the Ringmaster.
5v3 situation now. And you know, well, Echo is still available for Desire, so that's still something you've got to worry about a little bit, but you can keep trying to scout him out with the rocket flares from Clockwork if you want. Also taking care of pushing the top wave in. Yuma, can they burst him?
Nobody's gonna try. They're gonna go on top of him. Yuma is still alive, gonna start morphing back, and now Analog with the Rolling Thunder and the perfect bounces. The Fissure, it actually has assisted Analog in getting this chain disable. Smiling Knight already down to half HP, Mobe down to half health. Ice Blast flies forth, gives the cold feed over onto Smiling Knight. But they don't really care about their lives. Heroic are considering the next day of the tournament. They would like to get buildings, but they will retreat for now, with the glyph being activated by the side of AVULUS. And it seems like Heroic, with the impending respawns of the Tide, not that far away from the Ringmaster, they will call it a day, wait for the next Aegis perhaps, and then mount a push thereafter.
They're getting so many advantages right now. And Roche with a 1-minute early respawn, you can keep playing map control now and angle your vision around the next primary objective, or perhaps if AVULUS starts spreading out and move out of the base, maybe you get a little cheeky pick off here and there with the Clockwork plus the Morphling. Seems like AVULUS have been... Okay, actually, Yuma will take the top tower and then get out. Nice little snipe.
Okay. We still haven't seen this Hex being deployed in a fashion favorable to the side of AVULUS. And part of my problem as well is that we're getting to the point where, you know, how much more scale is available for this team? You look at this Medusa, Daedalus, MKB, Skadi, Butterfly, Manta, Silver Edge, OST. All that's left is a Moonshot and an Ag, so her progression is not really going to make that much of a further difference. And they're still struggling to actually kill these heroes. I mean, she spent so much time hitting, nobody died. Hook shot forward, they find Ringmaster Fly. I want you to cast your mind back, Syndrin. There was a point where this man was like 3-0, 4-0 or something like this, but it has not gone well the last 20 minutes.
That's right. Since that time, he has died a lot. Back to you, Snare.
Well, the one thing that's positive, if you're a South America fan, you should be quite happy right now. We're going to keep our South American team in, it seems, unless we have a miraculous hold from AVULUS. I mean, they have the team fight control, yes, but it's sort of what you were saying in the previous game, right? That they're just struggling to get it all out consistently and reliably on the priority targets, right?
Yeah, the primary problem that AVULUS are facing is that their fights become too chaotic. This is a really big part of why Pangolier is such a good pick this game, because their lineup is so heavily structured around chaining stuns, but Pangolier just gets in there and interrupts everything. So does Mars with the Arena. Clockwork just quick shots in, isolates a target, drops all his stuff, and then Wind Waker's out. It's hard for AVULUS at this point to play a standard Medusa with a lot of stuns kind of strategy. That they missed the mark on that one. This is when it's getting really hard. The types of fights that they need to execute now and the way that in which they've done it might have worked 15 minutes ago, but now you're looking at, you know, more, you need some crisper execution, you need some like toss backs, and you need some nice heads into really good chain lockdowns before Pango reacts. Ideally you find the Pango and play off of that, but way too late smoke by the way. Already face. This is a refresher shard plus cheese. Shard now on the Pango. 2 rolls in the next fight will be, as if one wasn't problematic enough, dealing with the 2 will be almost impossible.
And that's even before he picks up his nullifier. But AVULUS, they had smoked, hoping to try and connect onto a heroic as they were rushing. Unfortunately, it went down way too fast. And they actually caught a glimpse of vision, but I don't know if they really want to try and take this fight. Now with the rocket flares, they caught vision of Smiling Knight. Silver Edge is back. Look where Mobe and Shibe are hiding. They're just waiting for somebody to show themselves so they can mount this jump, but no safe targets are doing any reveal. Very disciplined approach right now from Heroic to go high ground.
Yeah, they're just gonna keep controlling the map as they have so far. Structuring their attack around, I mean, I guess controlled patience is probably a way to put it. You know, just keep controlling the sides, get the next wisdom. I mean, Yuma doesn't even want the wisdom. Oh, he's giving it to Whisper, and makes sense. They want to get the 25 on Mars. Morphus not close to 30 anyway, so he's not going to get it from this. And the poke and prod strategy for Heroic here is what's going to win them the game, right? You just keep throwing rockets, keep getting vision, and eventually you find some sort of jump, whether it's a hook shot, whether it's a Mars spear back, whatever. You don't have to just full-on 5-man push into a lane and set up Medusa for success. Can easily just take it slower, more methodical.
Pango's going to return right now. He picked up the Wisdom Shrine on the other side of the map. They smoke up. He's going to opt to maintain his buyback gold. Not going to fully buy out for the nullifier. They will wander towards the top side of the map. Unfortunately, all of the heroes from AVULUS have already backed off. They are shelling up right now, playing the turtle style. Let's see if they can get past here, though. It's only sentries on the ground. Fly will be the first one out. Poor Fly. Dead yet again without buyback. 50 seconds. And by that time, how much of the base will still remain? They do make the jump out onto the Clockwork, but immediately Wind Waker up, gets himself away, so he's going to be fine. Jump forward after by Shibe as well. They really wanted to get this. Even permitted their Hex onto this Clockwork. The Illusions beating down onto the clock. Analog waiting, he goes in. There's the Rolling Thunder on the backline, doing massive interruption. But mostly just to make sure that his heroes can retreat safely. But here they come, Arena with the Silver Edge. They demolish this Tidehunter. Smiling Knight does manage to get off the Medusa Stone Gaze, but she needs help to get back into the base. Nice fissure from Yuma. Unfortunately, it came too late to block in the Medusa, so there's no point pursuing Mobe with the last vestiges of his BKB. They've got what they wanted, a lane of Rax top, an easy kill on the core, and there's no reason to stop because Yuma also stole the Morphling Earthshaker form with an Aghanim Scepter, so he's feeling super strong. There's going to be the Echo, though, on the back line, but where's the damage? Smiling Knight goes forward, but it's not enough. In the meantime, Yuma goes to the back line, almost solo kills Desire and Fly. They save each other. The arena, though, will make sure that Mobe has no opportunity for salvation of his own. Ice Blast connects as well. He goes down. Nullifier connects into the Medusa, too. She has no Stone Gauge, she has no BKB, and she will not have a life very shortly. And then as she dies, without buyback, this should, Cinderin, be the GG and see Heroic maintaining their position in PGL Wallachia Season 4, unless some miracle happens from AVULUS.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what hope they're holding on to right now. The only hero that's about to be able to respawn is the Tide in 20 seconds, but they don't have any damage, so... Looks like Schofield is going to go on an exploration mission here, trying to figure out what's behind the fountain. It's over. GG. Heroic will survive at least another day, maybe all the way into the main event. But of course, it's a long hill.